It's time to shell up.
Ladies and gentlemen, currently broadcasting, accompanied by trainee number 1 from France. He is Monster Mack.
Holy freaking crap, everybody. It's me, Monster Mack, with another edition of the Mackcast. What number do you think it's been? We were doing a whole bunch of them, trainee.
By a whole bunch, I mean we did one last week, and we're doing one again this week. But it's episode number 44. I know that for sure because I'm the guy who numbers them and puts them online.
Then that's exactly why I asked you for the sweet Mackcast info. Thanks, dude. We got a special one. Trainee one usually does the intro, and I won't take that away from you, trainee. But I'm pumped up, and I'm ready, so kick it off right now with that intro.
By special intro, you mean Mac News. You forgot about Mac News, dude. We got shows. We got all kinds of jiggity jab going down.
We can get into a little Mac News. Like I said, I'm pumped up, trainee. He must have been bathing in that green ooze earlier this morning or something, dude, because
TGRI? The TGRI ooze.
You got to watch out for that, but he's ready to Maccast, you know what I'm saying? And that's what we want. We want to give the best to the people out there, the Macamaniacs.
All right, so then quick Mac News then. Go to mossmac.net for all our videos. And we got shows tomorrow night, House of Bricks in New Bedford.
Baseball, baby, it's going down. Baseball-related weapons.
That means Monster Mac might hit somebody with a bat, but probably not.
Is a watermelon a baseball-related weapon? People eat watermelons at baseball, right?
Right, yeah, I would imagine. Hot dogs, right? You can probably hit some.
Corn dog? Yeah, maybe.
Beat somebody with a corn dog for sure. And next Friday, September, 17th? Hold on, let me check my phone. 16th? Thank you, Steve. It's the RWA Fatal Impact. We're on the pre-show, baby.
Nice and early, you know what I mean? I'll be ready for them suckers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Monster Mac will have no time to imbibe in the wine. So we'll be ready, and we're taking on Tim Kilgore and Tim...
Kilgore?
No.
Isn't he retired?
It is Tim. Thank you. Steve probably knows the match. Steve, what's the name of the match? I'm sorry. I looked at it quick. Tim Lennox. There it is.
Currently work for our WA.
It's Tim
Although
Lennox.
I would love to, by the way.
And Tim Davidson.
There you go. I believe that's
Yes,
it.
Tim Davidson and Tim Lennox. I'm sorry. I remembered we were wrestling two guys named Tim, so I was just naming all the Tims off the top of my head.
Well, if you want to get it right, just go to facebook.com/RWA or Renegade Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah, you hear that? Listen, folks.
Yo, where should I be getting my Mac info from? From the Mac calendars. Steve DeWine is schooling you on this Maccast.
Listen, man, I know the dates. I don't know the names. I'm terrible with the names. But
It helps. I'm terrible with names, too. I need to see a face.
Face to match up
That's
with the
why I'm
names.
so grateful you guys are wearing masks, because I wouldn't be
Because now
able
you
to...
actually recognize us, right?
Yeah, I can tell who's Trainee 1 and who's the Monster Mac.
But as we were saying, Mac, the Mac News
By
is
the way,
done.
Monster Mac, we're going to definitely get into your name later on.
I would like to say that we had Buddy Romano, my buddy Romano, on the Maccast. You got to check that out because he got blew some steam off on that Maccast.
He for sure blew some steam off, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I've heard from more people in the past week that it happened that we're all like, "What am I gonna do the Maccast? What am I gonna do? Why do you do the Maccast with him?" And it's like, "Hey man, why don't you do a podcast and put me on your podcast and let me harass you about it every day?"
Getting that heat for the podcast. Yeah, I did.
The road to 50 is going strong.
It's been creating a lot of heat. Everyone wants to do a Maccast. All I got to say is, come on down and do it, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Like, we're here. You can just show up. You just message me and say, "Hey man, I want to talk. I want a tizzity talk." You can come down and we'll babble with everyone.
So I just wanted to thank Buddy for coming down and doing it, kicking it back up, you know what I mean? I think it created just the amount of buzz for the Maccast to keep on rolling, and especially the Maccast that's going down right now, trainee.
Right. Speaking of buzz, I feel like we haven't had this much of a buzz going into a Maccast in a long time. The JT Dunn one's always got a nice stir on the Twitter, and his last one got a whole bunch of Juggalo views. The Juggalos loved the story about Madman Pondo and stuff.
I forgot about that. Oh, poor JT. I felt so bad when I heard about that and his what's it. I mean, like, my God, for anyone to get stapled in the what's it. I mean, like,
No.
he should have gotten like $1,000 that night.
That was when Steve said that he might have some raunchy talk. He meant the what's its and the who's its.
and the Weezits and the what's it and the Mankind, the old 1996 Mankind yells. You know,
Atash, I hate it, dude. I do a good Atash.
and the wheeze.
Sometimes it just when I'm wrestling, it just comes out of me. I get punched in the face, and that's my response to it. But I'm stating right now, Steve Turtle, it's going down. I think you're going to be number one on the record boost. He's going to hit the download mark, and he's going to be number one.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm
Hope
betting
so.
it
That's
right
my
now.
goal for this.
His goal for this is to be number one. He's coming for you, JT Dunn and Scott Levesque and Muldoon.
Buddy Romano's not up there yet?
Buddy's in the past weeks got 150 plus downloads of just his episode. We've had like 300 downloads since last week from like old episodes, which is pretty good for people that haven't done a podcast in like 9 months.
But there it is, people, the Mac news. Now, Trenny, let the people know. They've been dying to know who's going to be on the Maccast this episode.
Well, it's really not a secret, but go ahead.
I feel like we may already have known. All right, in the Mack mansion today, we actually we pulled the couch loose. We ran the wires along. We're sitting out in the parlor watching some old Steve Weiner matches on the YouTube.
We had to move some things for this Maccast. K-Quick style for this one.
We're getting rowdy. And
Booyaka Shah. That's
Pump your
new-
fist and get rowdy like that.
See,
Pump your
do you know
fist and
all
get
the
a
words?
half rack crack.
in the house, a man who needs no introduction because
don't?
we're going to get into why. A man that everybody knows. I've seen current WWE superstars wearing your T-shirt, Steve.
Really?
Guys like Samoa Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Guys like Chris Hero, Cassius Ohno in WWE. People love you, Steve, and there's a reason why. We're going to get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, in the house tonight, Steve the Turtle Weiner.
Thank you very much, Trainee One Monster Mac. It's a pleasure to be here in the, what'd you call this awesome shindig? The Monster?
The Mac Mansion.
The Mac Mansion. I got to get you guys down to the Shell Shack.
Shell Shack.
Shell Shack down on the dock side sometime soon. In fact, at the end of this podcast, I'm going to have an offer for both of you that I know you can't possibly refuse.
I can't wait to find out what that is. I'm going to let the suspense build, though. And a rumor has it, Steve, that a couple of your partners from the Turtles in Time might be popping in. And I literally mean popping in because he's Dick Lane and he has, like,
Teleport.
gadgets. Yeah, many gadgets.
There was a reason why the match of last year, which was voted Feud of the Year in NCW, which we'll get into later on, lasted over 38 days. And I'm not joking. Just because. One match. It started at one event and it went to the season finale.
This with Dick himself?
Yeah, with Dick. They won Feud of the Year.
No,
We only wrestled twice, technically. In three
Really?
shows, but twice. And we were Feud of the Year.
My confusion about Dick Lane is I figured he would be here already with all that teleportation device. How do you say that one?
Teleportation.
That's not a word. None of what.
Teleportation?
Well, I'm sure teleportation will eventually be in the website.
With all these devices he has, he should be here by now, you know what
Well,
I mean?
you know, he's probably not the only person with the technical whiz house. I should know.
There's still traffic in
I've ridden with Dick
time
Lane.
traveling.
I've traveled with Dick Lane since we teamed up by teleportation. Let me tell you, there's a lot of people on the Supernova Transportation Highway that he travels.
Oh, man, so it's not just like that? I did figure you can show up anytime you want.
No, it's not like Dragon Ball Z where one of my heroes, Goku, puts his fingers on his head and goes instant transmission and woof!
That's too bad. You can go in your bedroom, you just get your gear on right there, bang, in the locker room, ready to wrestle.
You will win there.
5 minutes before your match.
And you know why you say that? Those kind of things, Master Mac, because you don't like hanging out in the locker rooms ever. You're always trying to get there late. You're always trying to leave early. Mr. Big Shot over here. I got ladies. I got wine. I got things to do.
You know
but
what?
No.
You know what song you gotta listen to? You should listen to Billy Joel's Big Shot. It could probably describe what Trainee One's trying to describe.
Yeah. It's just sometimes I don't want to hang in the back of a
In
U-Haul
fact, if you
truck.
guys put music on this episode and have to do breaks at some point, that should be the break song for that segment.
You know, I think you have enough stroke to get music down in the Maccast over here. We'll do whatever you want, Steve.
Oh, good. I have a lot of requests later, but we'll get into that.
No
'cause-
lies.
Nothing kinky, though. Nothing
Oh,
kinky.
no, don't worry. And thank you for letting me wear pantyhose as it is, because we're going to get into that as well. But
What
if
is
we're gonna-
that?
if we're really going to get into this, we should probably start at the beginning.
At the beginning, Steve. Now, you talking about when you're a little baby turtle?
Yes. First of all, fans, my name is Steve the Turtle Weiner. I am the son of a miracle. My father, Mark Weiner Sr., was born on May 13th, 1951, 2.5 to 3 months premature, during a time when doctors did not have technology to keep someone born that early alive until they were mature enough to, go home with their mommy.
Yeah.
Not only did he not only did he survive the night, but he went on to do so many incredible things in his 62 years of life that if I never do anything monumental in wrestling, not that I haven't, but like on levels that my peers have,
Right.
what my dad has accomplished, especially on like the last day with him, which I'll get into a little bit, I'll treasure for the rest of my life. I mean, like, he was just Mark Weiner Sr. And by the way, my full name is Mark Stephen Weiner Jr., for those that don't know. He was more than just my dad. He was my hero,
I was gonna say,
my friend, and
just the way you're talking about him, you can tell that.
And just biasly, the greatest man who ever lived. And honestly, and as I'll get into right now, there would not be a Steve the Turtle Weiner without him, because he was born 3 months premature. He lived. He, like myself, which I'll get into, was diagnosed with a learning disability during a time when that wasn't treatable, or people didn't know how to treat it because it wasn't a thing back then. When he was born, there was no such thing as the autism spectrum or Asperger's,
right,
or ADD or ADHD, et cetera, et cetera. At one point, it took him 13 years just to graduate college. I'm not joking. It took him 13 years, and he graduated from Harvard Night School.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yes, he never gave up, and I vowed to him that it's taken me a while because I'm in community college. I'm taking, all things considered, this semester off. Just I want to get through like a year.
Yeah.
I want to get through a full year of him not being here because he was also a driving force behind that, which I'll get into. But my dad is just remarkable man. Of all the gifts he's ever given me or has left me, the greatest thing he's ever given me is his name. Now, I always call him Turtle King because if I'm the turtle, then he's
the Turtle King,
like Tiger King from the original Tiger match. That's like, and Dad's not even a wrestler. Another thing, I'm jumping ahead here, but like my dad, the reason I call myself the son of a miracle is because my dad is literally the living example of a miracle. I mean, he was born 3 months premature.
Yep.
He survived so many battles with cancer, and I'm not even sure how much of this I should be talking about, but hopefully this is all out there now, so hopefully my family will understand.
Yeah.
He survived.
Like, Steve, don't feel obligated to get.
Oh no, I got to explain
you
this.
Don't feel comfortable with, you know what I mean? Obviously,
he survived. He survived a lot of things.
Yeah.
I wish I can get into it like in detail, but I do have family that I'll get into.
He was a fighter.
He was a fighter, and he fought to the very end. He was also a politician, which I'll get into.
Yeah.
But continuing on, I was born on September 21st, 1983 at 12:05 a.m. So oddly enough, just in time for my 33rd birthday, people, a week from Wednesday, come wish me a happy birthday. I accept gifts and hugs and kisses and women in pantyhose, and
for sure, women in pantyhose.
Yes.
That'll be a birthday that no one will forget, Steve.
Absolutely, and also ice cream cake.
And ice cream cake, two fantastic things.
Absolutely. So at an early age, I knew there was something I didn't know, but my family knew there was something different with me. And another reason I'm so grateful for my dad is because he never gave up on me. Around when I was 4 or 5, after my father and mother divorced and my dad began a new relationship with the person I call my happy place, my hot stepmom, Susan Weiner.
Yep.
Trust me, if you've seen her, you would understand why. Don't worry, peoples. My stepmom takes that as the highest compliment possible.
Yeah, she's down with it. She's okay with all that.
Oh, yeah. She's in her 60s, and she looks like my age. And that's all natural, by the way. So.
Well, then.
Yes.
So not only was your dad a fighter, but he was a bit of a player, too.
Apparently so.
He had the moves, Steven.
Yes, he did. But clearly, I was very antisocial. I was not progressing as like what a normal person would. And by the way, in my opinion, there's really no such thing as normal because we're all different in our own ways. I mean, we're all not black and white or brown or red. If we were all the same thing, this would be a very boring world. That's why wrestling is so wonderful, which I'll get into because
I was gonna say, man, you're talking to a couple of guys sitting in their living room in the masks.
Absolutely.
Like, for sure, there's different kinds. Normal's kind of boring.
Absolutely. And by the way, I'd like to say I love your portrait on this Mack Palace here.
Oh, it's pretty dope, right?
Oh, absolutely.
We're going to put that picture online sometime.
Please
One of
do.
my loveliest ladies drew that for me, sketched it up, and I thought it came out pretty sweet. Thanks, dude.
Yes,
Appreciate the
when we take
compliment.
that group shot after this Mack cast to promote this, once it goes online, we should do it in front of that.
Yeah, we'll put that in the background. It's
Yes.
a dope photo of everything cool ever.
mean, yeah, I could see
Pretty much what it
Sabu,
is.
Master Splinter. I think I see the Ghost, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
There's
Clayface.
Penn and Teller, Larry David,
I think I'm seeing Grimace from Ronald McDonald back in the
Jay and Silent Bob.
Jay and Silent Bob. Is that Shaft or is that
No, that's George Clinton.
George Clinton? I almost was going to say Luke Cage back when he was Power Man.
Freddy Krueger, Tom Green, like Heisenberg. There's tons of cool stuff on there.
This is like a modern day cartoon all-star to the rescue.
Yeah.
But basically, round 4 or 5, I was taken to a hospital to run tests to see if there was something wrong with me. I was misdiagnosed. I don't know what I was misdiagnosed with. I was correctly diagnosed to be on the autism spectrum, but I was on a much lower functioning level than what I really am, which I'll get into. But basically, the doctor, from what I was told, that the doctor said at the age I am now, I would probably be living in a padded room for the rest of my life, put in a straitjacket, not able to feed diapers, and
misdiagnosis.
not being able to tie my shoes or drive a car.
Right.
Basically, not being able to live on my own because I would be a danger to both myself and to others around me. My dad never accepted that because I was his son. He knew that they were wrong, even though he didn't have proof. He just somehow knew they were wrong, and he was determined to make sure that I had the best chance of life possible. Which is why, even though it's a time I wish didn't happen, I'm grateful that he did send me to a place called the Learning Clinic in Brooklyn, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Which I spent basically a decade at, to help me learn to live independently.
Now, when that was going on,
oddly enough, today
I'm sure
is
you felt angry, right, while it was going on.
Well, I was
now that
13,
you
so
yeah,
of
course,
course,
right.
I was in there.
Emotional and
Oddly enough, today that the date that this podcast is being recorded,
Yep.
September 9th, marks the 20th anniversary of my first day at that school.
so that's great. That's a crazy memory. So 20 years ago,
On this very day.
on this very day,
Yeah.
you went to the Learning Center,
Learning Clinic. But
Learning Clinic,
TLC.
the Learning. Okay,
Yep. And I was there for 10 or 11 years. And their school was much different. I mean, you didn't go grade by grade. You went by progression, but you did move up a grade every year no matter what.
okay.
So I can honestly say that I don't think I have ever achieved a math level, a high school level of math. And I probably graduated at a high school level with only a middle school to lower high school degree of learning.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that if I went to a normal school or even a normal private school, I would not have graduated.
Have been able to graduate.
No, so I also got to learn how to do a lot of stuff, some of which I don't know how to do anymore, but
Right, yeah, the skills and stuff that they teach you. It's
Yeah,
kind
I mean,
of just
like-
a lot of that stuff just fades away. High
not
school and
tying.
stuff.
I learned before all that how to tie my shoes.
Yeah,
and
obviously.
whatnot. It's but that school helped me out so much, and I got to meet a few great people there. I mean, one person I got to meet there was son of famous '80s director John Landis, Max Landis, who was my roommate.
Okay.
Max Landis, who was the writer of the movie Chronicle.
Yes.
And the recent Ultra American, was it called? The recent movie that came out, the first one he directed, American Ultra.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
I have yet to see either of these movies. I'm sorry, Max. And by the way, if you're listening to this, I hope you're doing well, buddy. And I really hope we get to hook up again soon. I'm friends with him on Facebook, but he's so busy, it's just hard to talk to him at times.
Yeah. I a little backstory on myself. Tim White, the referee's nephew, went to high school with me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and he was at my graduation, and it was pretty sweet.
Hmm.
Someone stuck the camera in his face, and he was like, "Get out of here! I don't want to be filmed."
You think Tim White tells the story about how he went to Max High School graduation?
I'm pretty sure he must. You're a very popular person, Monster.
If they ever make a documentary about him, I'll have to look out for that one. So.
I'll make sure you get on that as one of those interviewers where they do the behind the music sitting, where it's not like you're looking straight in the camera, it's the side shot.
Yeah, it's good. It's slightly looking off camera.
Yeah, I love that side shot because it's like you're talking to an audience, but you
Yeah,
can't see
no.
the interviewer. Like right now.
Steve, was your dad the guy who introduced you to pro wrestling?
We'll get into that in just a second. I'll have to
Okay.
backtrack, but the TLC was just a very important place for me.
Yeah.
There were several downsides though. I had to be away from my family because it was an overnight place. I missed my younger sister, my younger brother, my other younger brother from my mother and my ex-stepdad's side, who's no longer with us either. I won't get into that because my brother Bobby, hello Bobby, and by the way, hello Richard and Zoe. Those are the other younger brother, half sister and half brother from my dad's side. My
Hey,
older
guys.
sister Kathy, who lives out in California. Hello.
Hey, Kathy.
I
How's
also want to
Callie?
say hello to her husband, my lovely brother-in-law Brian
Brian
Bunnan.
Steve
and-
thinks you're very lovely.
Yes, and
Also want to say hello to my nephews, Maxwell Stanley and Ben and Harrison Button. They are 5 and less than 1, respectively, and I miss them both very much. One thing about my dad's passing is I got to spend a lot of time with both of my nephews, and I think I bonded with them really well because I miss them every day. But anyhow, to answer your previous question, yes, my dad, and by the way, fans, I do apologize. Clearly, as you could probably tell, this is going to be a little bit edited in the final product, but we are going to be bouncing around a little bit. But yes, my dad technically was the one who introduced me to wrestling, and at times regretted it because of how obsessed I became with it. I used to watch cartoons all the time.
Yep.
That was the only thing I understood. I could not understand a show with a normal person. I mean, even with cartoons, I didn't understand the whole words. I mean, I look back at DuckTales now and was like, how did I miss all these words?
Right, yeah.
I was looking at the duck talking like
that's awesome.
and it's like duck talking. Woo! And then it was like the Gummy Bears and then also Ghostbusters. And yes, Ninja Turtles, which was an inspiration for my name.
Woo.
And my dad, who was a wrestling fan at the time, wanted me to go see wrestling. And it took me forever to finally say yes. I didn't like the sound. As a kid,
right,
as you know,
loud.
as you know, kids have sensitive here. So kids are much sensitive to their senses when they're much younger, because they're so small, but they're like activated like a higher level. Like the sound of the 5 senses are smell, touch, hearing. I forget the other 2.
Sight and sound.
Sight and sound. And by the way,
Hearing, smelling, tasting.
I want to thank TLC because they were able to probably diagnose me as I'm on the higher end of the learning spectrum. So that's how I'm able to live on my own without supervision, or with minor supervision. So my dad finally convinced me, and I went to my very first wrestling event in September, which actually happened to be the last non-televised King of the Ring tournament.
Okay.
Back when they were just all dark shows in Providence, where every king you ever saw on TV, yes, someone would beat them for the crown, but believe it or not, after when Harley Race joined, someone would win the tournament. There would actually be a tournament where someone that they portrayed as the king actually wanted to become the king.
Yeah.
Bret Hart is actually a 2-time King of the Ring champion. I got to see the one where he won it the first time before
it was a TV thing, yeah.
Yeah. I always wonder what would happen if they actually introduced a King of the Ring pay-per-view in 92 instead of 93 when Ric Flair was here. Imagine what they could have done in between WrestleMania 8 and SummerSlam if they had a King of the Ring. I still believe they would have done the main event of Jake Roberts being the first challenger of Randy Savage in some sort of snake pick match. That's how they could have gotten rid of Jake. Where it would be like the early version of a Buried Alive match where Jake Rob for the first person to throw
end up in the pit
of snakes.
Yeah.
And the Ultimate Warrior could have been like this guest referee that set up the Warrior Savage match for SummerSlam.
And they
could have done the King of the Ring where it's like I bracketed this whole thing.
I'm sure you have this written down somewhere.
Yeah, it's, the opening match would have been Bret Hart versus Owen Hart, both baby faces.
Yeah.
I think we would have done a Ric Flair versus El Matador match.
Okay.
Just a random person.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Something for Flair.
We would have done one half of Money Inc. versus Natural Disasters to continue that feud, and probably Shawn Michaels versus the British Bulldog. I don't know what order would that be, but I still think Bret would have won or either Bret or Davey Boy would have won to give one of them momentum going into SummerSlam.
Okay.
Even though because Flair wouldn't need it. Although Flair would have been like the third choice. Oh, that's right. It would have been Undertaker in that match. Undertaker would have been in the King of the Ring somehow. I don't know who he would have
as well.
been.
Yeah, you don't know who you would have put him against though.
No, but I think he actually would have made it to the finals or semifinals and he would have won his first match, got beaten up, and then like he would have gotten counted out or DQ'd or something to allow like the heel to go on to the finals. So where was I? Yes, I saw the King of the Ring. There was one non-King of the Ring tournament match there that changed my life forever, and that's the Bushwhackers.
Oh, yeah.
The Bushwhackers versus the Beverly Brothers. For some reason, the Bushwhackers, not Hulk Hogan, not Randy Savage, not Bruno Sammartino, not Bob Backlund, not Superstar Billy Graham, not Ric Flair, even though I'm fans of all those men now, not someone from Japan, not someone from Mexico. The two men, before I learned about the independence, that made me a fan of professional wrestling and wanted me to become a professional wrestler were the Bushwhackers.
What was it about Luke and Butch?
Well, I have to say a lot of things. They reminded them of me. Both of them reminded me of me of some way. I guess
you saw yourself in them.
Yeah, I mean, granted, I didn't go around licking people in the face, although I would have if I was in a wrestling.
I have, you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
not that big of a deal.
wish someone would bring that back now. I mean, like, I thought getting like it's like a stamp of approval, in my opinion. I don't find anything unsanitary about that.
That's a look to the face. You know, if you're in wrestling and you're going to complain about
It's not like they're
someone-
gonna have cooties or anything. It's not like
right. They might have cooties.
I mean, like I'm sure Ben Sander. What's that actor's name? Ben Sanders.
Ben Stiller?
Ben Stiller, who from that movie that he hated germs about that. There's that scene in that movie that I always like that keeps getting repeated about him getting like bumping up to a guy with a hairy chest and going, "Ugh," and I want to take him and just like to go rub him in the guy's chest Rikishi style because I just want to like, come on, you want to get the ooh out.
I usually go for the neck area with the licks for the ladies. Yeah, the neck area. They don't like you licking their face. Believe me, I learned from experience.
You gotta teach me that experience because I should tell you guys, I'm gonna be honest, I have no experience. In case anyone out there is wondering, I am currently single and I have no children, and I would love to change that status.
Ladies.
I'm not sure about the children because that's although I don't know if
we can think about the kids in the future, but for
Yeah.
right now, let's get Steve a date. You know what I
I
mean?
could use a date.
You're looking for the hookup. You came to the right place.
It would be
but,
nice to have some female company for my birthday. I will tell you that right now. If this gets up
Which is
in
next Wednesday, by the way.
a week from Wednesday, the
a
21st.
week from Wednesday.
2-1.
2-1.
9-2-1.
921, folks.
So anyhow, yes, ever since I saw the Bushwhackers back in about 25 years ago this month, I was hooked ever since. I mean, like, I've been a wrestling fan for over 25 years since I was 7
You've
years.
just been hooked since then?
Yeah.
So the Bushwhackers inspired you, but when did you think like I could do this? Like I want
I would
to
have to
really
say-
get into this.
I would have to say back in 2002 when I really started to expand my wrestling horizon. I mean, I was always a WWE fan. I happened upon WCW by chance when I saw Sting leave the ring, and I saw
Like, who the hell is this? What's going on here?
and then I saw the Steiner brothers face Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton during the tail end of the Dangerous Alliance.
Okay,
And
so
I,
that was like, what, 93? 92? Okay.
92 and 93 was when Ric Flair returned back to WCW.
Gotcha.
And that's when the dark ages of Eric Bischoff began. I'm sorry, Eric. I have never met you, but I want to just say there was a lot of stuff that WCW that I don't agree with, which we'll get into a little bit later.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things. I listened to some of the Buddy Romano podcasts, and I was in attendance, as you know, for the JT Dunn one. But,
Yes.
I respect Buddy. I love Buddy, and we'll talk about Slime Tech in a minute. But there are some things that I agree and disagree with him about, which we will
Well,
get
you know,
to.
I did too, right on the podcast with him. There's
And-
some things that I was trying to.
And
you
by
know-
the way, speaking of which, we are currently watching me
Oh,
challenging.
wow, that's funny. You versus Buddy going on right now on the YouTube.
Oh, yeah, this is probably my birthday match. We'll get into it in a little bit. Oh, yes. But back to where we were. Oh, yeah. 2002, I went to the Ring of Honor All Japan Super Show. The opening match, there was an afternoon card, which I think they called that Showcase Show, which was awesome. I got to meet Julius Smokes, and he was, like, fabulous. And but the match that really told me I can do this was when I saw Jay Briscoe face the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. For some reason, there was something about Danielson's entrance, and I met
That was the Offspring song, right?
yeah, but it was also his blue gear, and I've always was.
Yeah.
I understand why he went to maroon or red because it was like tribute to Regal.
Clean baby shave.
Yeah, he was like the baby face, and I always wanted to wrestle him, and I was so depressed when he retired because I wanted to have Team Shell Yes form.
I think we
one
may
time.
have been at that same show, Steve. Like at the show, watching as fans. We went to a whole lot of Ring of Honor shows the first the first 2 years, I'd say.
And then in 2003, I met my best friend Kevin Fector and his brother Jerry, and my other friend Greg Barnes, and of course my sister, Kevin's sister-in-law, Jerry's wife, Pamela Fecto, at the Ring of Honor events, and they have been nothing but amazing. I want to give a shout out to them. Kevin, Jerry, Greg, Pam, hello. I love you guys. We got to hang out soon. They live in South Salem, New York. I'm not going to tell you where.
Right, yeah, I don't need their address.
But no, I got to bring you guys to meet them because they definitely seem like people you would love to hang out with.
Yeah, good,
And I
good
apologize.
folks.
Yes, and I wish they could be here today because I should have told them about this, but I don't know. Since they live in the armpit of Connecticut, it's going to be a little bit hard
Yeah, a
for
little
them.
bit of.
But basically, I love those guys to death. But it was like that super show made me like, I got to give this a try. I mean, like, I got to explain this right now. For whatever reason, when I went to that WWE show, for whatever, all I ever wanted to do was be in professional wrestling. Even if it was not main eventing WrestleMania or Starrcade or
whatever it
Tokyo
was.
Dome, I just wanted to wrestle. I didn't care about the money. I did care if I met women. I will say that, like, later on when I fought, like, the Star would get, like, all these, like, multiple women hung on my arms.
Yeah.
I don't even care if it was, like, we got sex or not. I just wanted the people people who don't understand this, you would not believe what the power of a woman can do, because in my opinion, a woman is like one of the greatest creatures on earth, and I don't mean that just by looks or anything. A woman, and I know this from my stepmom's experience, can make you feel that everything's going to be okay on the worst day of your life. And
They can also make you feel like it's the worst day of your life on the best day of your life. Just saying.
well, that's your opinion, but
No, for sure, my opinion.
I honestly have to say that that's yet to happen to me, because I have never been in a relationship in my entire life. I have dated, but I've never been in a relationship, and I really want to change that now. It was one of my dad's final wishes, and I know that because he told President Clinton that. And we will get into that later on. I want to get from my wrestling story first before we get into like the political side of the Weiner family.
Your dad used to hang out with President Clinton. We can get into that later, but
Yes, and for proof of that, so fans know I'm not bullshitting them, if you go on my Facebook page, Facebook
you got photo
/ Turtle
proof.
Weiner, it's the cover photo on my page, not
Nice.
not the See the Turtle Weiner page, not
Yeah.
the Turtles in Time page, my actual Facebook page.
I see.
Which I still got like 2,500 people I can add as a friend before you guys go to the page. So it's right there. Literally the last photo I ever took of my dad involved President Clinton.
Nice.
And I think Trainee 1 is looking that up right now.
Trying, yeah.
Well, hold on. Let me stay with us, fans. This is why we have the power of edit here. But while I'm looking it up for Trainee 1, so I can just show him, what was I talking about, so I can continue this for...
Previous to that was just the fact that you were hooked and you wanted to be involved
All
with
I ever
wrestling.
wanted to do was be a wrestler. I mean, that's it. I mean, there's nothing else. I never wanted to be the quarterback in the Super Bowl. I never wanted to play in the World Series. I'm sorry I'm stealing your shit, Tommy Dreamer. You're an awesome dude, by the way, and I loved hanging out in the locker room with you many years ago.
Tommy Dreamer stole my soda 2 years ago, and I'm still pissed. Sorry, continue.
But
You did hit somebody with it, though, so that
Basically,
kind of makes up for it.
that's all I wanted to do was just I wanted to be a wrestler.
There it is.
And there it is.
Hanging out with Bill Clinton.
Yeah, that's Clinton, all right. How do you who you voting for, Steve?
Oh, do I really need to say it?
No, you don't. You could just tell us.
Well,
off
clearly
air.
Clinton.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, like, if nothing political, I know shit about politics. I know I'm a Democrat just because that's what I am.
because everybody told you that you were.
That's what I were, and I just can't see myself, especially after W. Bush's run as president, of being a Republican ever, and nothing against Republicans. I have friends that are Republicans, and I don't even know what a Republican is. I don't know what a Democrat is.
Yeah,
but I
but-
know this. President Clinton, on the second night of this year's Democratic National Convention, when he spoke, and there's clips of it online, the day my dad passed, and I know this for a fact because my brother was standing next to the teleprompter because he took my dad's place as a delegate, and I don't know what a delegate is, and I was one twice. Actually, name dropped my dad.
Yeah.
He was that my dad was that dedicated to the Democratic Party and the Clintons themselves that the president took the time to name drop my dad. I mean, him and Secretary Clinton, hopefully future President Clinton, actually came to my dad's funeral. I mean, one of the images that will always stay with my mind as long as I'm lucid is taking my dad to his final place. Taking my dad to his final resting place. We had basically a presidential motorcade, and it's one of the highest honors I ever had. I mean, it just put in. I knew my dad was an important person, but it was that moment I realized, like, holy shit.
Yeah. Well,
my
because
dad
your
was.
dad's always an
My
important
dad was a
person to
once in a
you.
lifetime. My dad was a once in a lifetime human being.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a pretty. I don't know. I can see that you're getting emotional just talking about it. So, like, for
this
real,
is the
yeah,
best chance I've ever had to be able to finally talk about this openly.
I'm glad that we could be a part of that, Steve.
Thank you. But and by the way, quickly, I want to say, finally, I see you made it off the superhighway.
He just
My
teleported into the
My
house.
tag partner, Dick Lane, has arrived. Hello, Rick.
It is I, the metahuman supervillain, and I have arrived at the Mack cast to put the turtle on blast.
And he's also wearing his own T-shirt, by the way. I just want to throw that out there,
Well, it's
which
also-
is available where? Where, Dick?
On Bubble... Redbubble.
Redbubble. That's just words. There's no .com.
.com.
Redbubble. If you see a Redbubble floating by, pop it. Boom.
And for the record,
Turtles in Time shirt.
yes, also featuring myself, Curry Boy, and Princess Pantyhose Delilah Hayden.
Curry Boy, the illegitimate son of Curry Man,
I thought he was
for
his
when he
nephew.
toured. Oh, his nephew. I'm sorry. I
We're
was
not
thinking-
sure. Curry Boy only speaks Koreanese, as we call it. It's like a broken hybrid mixture of Japanese and English, but it's like in a way that only high
Is there a lot of bowing? Does he bow a lot?
He bows it just like that. We dubbed his language Koreanese. That's why he's probably not going to be on social media anytime soon.
Which is understandable.
Only a few of us can barely understand him. It's a miracle we even got him to join the club.
I can barely understand this guy, and he's been my best friend for like 18 years.
That's how most best friends work. But basically, my dad was an amazing person. I'm sure I'll talk more about him later on during this podcast. And I do apologize for people if I'm bouncing around so much.
There will be tons of bouncing. It happens, man. Everybody does it.
But hopefully you'll be able to handle like how I'm speaking and what I'm speaking about to join me for this ride, because we're going to be here for a while, and I have a lot to say and get off my chest. So let's get back to business. Where was I?
I don't even remember where we went with that.
Oh,
the Bill Clinton. We went off on a Bill Clinton tangent.
We're talking about wrestling. I was,
Yeah,
because we could finally get into when I started. Around on my 21st birthday, or right around my 21st birthday, in 2004, a year after the Ring of Honor stuff, my stepmom helped me find a wrestling school, which turned out to be Bob Evans School.
Nice. Slam Tech?
Slam Tech University. That was Pawtucket.
Okay.
Off exit 26. It's
Okay.
no longer there anymore, but it was, oddly enough, RWA actually took over that place years later.
Which I went to both places, and I remember because we did some training at Slam Tech back in the day, and then we went to like an RWA show to watch like years later, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I've been here before. Like, and I couldn't. It was the place you had to like walk up the was it like a fire escape almost stairs outside?
No,
that led to a door.
Was the second place.
That was the second place. Okay.
Was
The
that
original place was like this, how did I describe this? This like giant building that could have been like a factory, and it had the sliding door and everything, and it looked like there was like drugs and like prostitutes. Could have
the
probably been
dealers?
Bob was smuggling drugs and prostitutes.
No, but it's like the place.
Purely speculation, may I add.
Bob Evans is a wonderful human being, and the last thing he was doing is calling himself Pimp Daddy Bob, and
would you,
Bobby.
Would you or would you not want to see Bob Evans in a big pimp hat and an awesome, like a long robe and a cape?
I would love to see Bob.
I'm pretty sure I gave him one once.
You listen.
Wrestling a bear, too. Bob, that option's still
As a
open.
matter of fact, the bear is coming soon to the Turtles in Time. That's legit.
You got a bear?
A bear
live
is coming to the Turtles in Time. I can confirm that.
I have to put you on blast right now.
Hold on.
First, you need a mic.
Hey,
Before you can put him on blast, you need...
we've had a lot of activity on the Turtles in Time Facebook page recently.
Yes, we'll get
Steve
into that
the
in a little
Turtle.
bit. There is an explanation behind that, and we'll get into that in a little bit.
You know, I just walked in here, but immediately I have to get this off my chest. This has been eating away at me for a while, Steve.
Well, go ahead, eat.
You know,
By the way,
all right. I'm not in the mood for pizza. I'm
you
in the
are?
mood-
Oh, good. I've been wanting to see this for a long time. You eat pizza. Come on, eat.
Listen to me.
I'm
Steve,
listening.
Steve,
Say it.
Steve,
Yes.
over the past few weeks,
Yes.
you have added several members to the roster of Turtles in Time.
Yes, I have.
All right. So
They're branched out. They got their own charters and everything.
let me ask you a question.
We are the prime unit, and they've got their own like subsections.
All right, Steve. You allowed Mike Grassa into the Turtles in Time.
Yeah, one of the rules
Mike
on the
Gra-
Turtles of Time is your business is your business, their business is their business. So therefore,
Steve.
I understand Mike Grassa and you have issues in RWA or whatnot.
No, it's not even that. That guy wears a mask made of human flesh to the ring, Steve.
Oh, you should see the stuff I wear at home.
Okay.
So honestly, I didn't have a problem with that. So
All right, I'm just saying, at NCW, when Trips and Rui Botello are in the ring beating you up, who's going to come save you? Is it going to be Dick Lane or David Starr? Steve.
well, if David Starr was there, I'd like to say David Starr, but clearly you.
So you don't think that Dick Lane can get the job done, Steve? Is that
Oh.
what this is about?
No, clearly Dick. No, I added all these extra people to get you noticed.
All right, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Steve.
The whole idea of adding all these people, and I know we're jumping ahead, but the reason I've made it open membership is to help everyone like go beyond what they are right now. Believe it or not, the more people we add, the more eyes are going to be on you, on Delilah, on Curry Boy, even on Barrington Hughes down in Florida. We're all going to that's the whole beauty of all this. It's not about replacing
I'm
people.
going to have to say I disagree on that one, Steve, and I don't mean to say that, but adding Mike Grosser to the team, he is the mind eraser. He's going to be kicking people in the head so hard, it's going to be erasing their minds. They're not going to remember that even the team exists.
That's why we added Smiley. He's his counterpart.
Oh, there you go. I didn't know he had a counterpart. My bad.
They're what are they called? Fit to be tied or something like that. They were once a tag team.
I'm glad to see you're on top of it.
You got control of this, Mac. Don't worry.
How
How many trainees do you got? How much jive are you talking? It's like
we were not
48 guys.
Since we're talking about this now. I was going to say this at the end of the podcast, but I wanted to invite you two into the group.
They are waiting in the car right now.
You don't want us in the group, Dick Lane?
I mean, you get to be editors on the page. Like
I just missed some. I missed some news. What?
What happened? There's the Turtles in Time, right? He's the turtle, and I'm the in time part. Dick Lane is the in time.
yeah, but wait. If you're in time, what is Delilah and Curry Boy?
They
I heard Curry Boy's been in time a few times.
Oh no, he's been. Oh, believe me. Hey,
okay.
Can we tell the story, Dick? We gotta tell this funny story about Curry Boy.
Before we get into that story, did I just hear that we're in Turtles in Time too?
That's what Steve wanted to invite us to join Turtles in Time, but it seemed to upset Dick Lane a little bit.
We're the newest members, and
His arms were in the air.
I don't wanna share my spotlight, Steve.
But that's it. You get to shine the spotlight since I'm founder status. You're like the
Dick Lane
co-pilot.
doesn't want to share a spotlight while he just randomly showed up on the
Dick.
Mattcast.
Dick.
since as the
Dick,
newest members,
That's just it. Princess Pantyhose said that she's fine with all these members, but she would only manage me and you and technically Curry Boy. She
Pantyhose,
wants dibs
huh?
on you.
What's her name?
Princess Penny.
Ooh, I like that. I have to meet her sometime. Hey, so
You've met her a bunch
She
of
likes
times.
the nickname, apparently. I don't know why, but she keeps talking about you all the time.
So before we get into it, I just want to know, as the newest member of Turtles in Time, Monster Mac, who can you name some of the members in this group? Because Dick Lane doesn't seem to be too happy of how large the group's getting.
Well, it's going to get larger. He'll be very excited when Chris Hero joins. Hopefully someday we'll talk.
I am a big Chris Hero mark. That's true. Steve,
Yes.
but
I'm working on it.
I still don't know about this. I'm gonna let you do what you do, and I'm gonna let you take the lead. But I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna work out, Steve.
If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Question for Dick Lane. Were you wearing that headband before you got out of your car and came up the stairs, or did you put him out in the hallway?
Car, he teleported
Sorry,
here.
the teleportation vehicle.
You're so shell-shocked about being invited to our group, you forgot how he
I don't
traveled
even know
here.
what's going on.
The headband is an essential part of my telekinesis.
I'm surprised you didn't wear the glove.
To get here.
What about the glove?
It is hot today, Trini.
Oh, that's a good point.
Sweat out of your eyes.
Absorbs the sweat.
It actually helps.
That's a good point.
Dick Lane, did you show up with individually wrapped Coca-Colas?
Coca-Cola!
I didn't have a cooler, so I just tossed a couple Coca-Colas in a.
Some Ziploc bag?
Yeah.
When you teleport between through time or space, for that matter, you have to package your stuff properly. Equipment. You don't want to
You
get.
go on an airplane, right? You have to put everything in individual baggies.
Anyhow, let me tell this funny story about. No, we're jumping around too much. But you were asking about the members, then we'll tell about the Curry Boy story. Currently, there's Turtles in Time Prime, which is, of course, myself, Dick Lane, Delilah,
You
Hayden,
hear all
the
these
Alley
extra
Cat,
things that are
a.k.a.
Prime, yeah,
Princess
yeah.
Amazon Prime.
Right, you guys will deliver in 24 hours.
and, of course,
or less.
Curry Boy. And, yes, there is a bear coming. Believe it or not, we are currently hunting for a bear, which I'll explain in another time when we get more closer to the season finale of NCW. But basically, the idea about Turtles in Time is, outside of NCW, I decided to branch it off. It's like, what if Bailey, Aces and Eights, Sons of Anarchy, the Gummy Bears, and me all had a little baby, and we get Turtles in Time.
That is the weirdest orgy of all time.
And basically, it's a faction that's not a faction, except in NCW, where it's like the Defenders for anyone that's a comic book fan. Like, it's a team that's not a team. Each member has the status of saying they're a turtle in time, but conducts their business as they see fit.
As individual turtles.
Yes, and they have their own charter. Like, they're based, for example, if Dick wanted to say he's from the Dr. Collapop base, he could do that.
I mean,
Like I
that
said,
is
I'm
where
the
it's
charter.
from.
I'm from the Dockside charter. And like Delilah, we just said she's all from Northern New England because that's all she would say.
Okay.
So she gets control of Vermont, Maine, and New Hampshire.
Tell Steve where she lived. She wouldn't give him her address.
So that you see, that's my
He
point.
was
She
giving
must
out
have told you.
He was trying to give out somebody's address before. He's like, they live in, and then he said the name of the town. He's like, but I'm not going to tell you where. I was like, I don't need to know their apartment number.
And I would have. You should have seen the Cribs video I did where I actually revealed where I lived online. And luckily, no one ever came to see me, which I'm sure will pop up on YouTube
Yes,
eventually.
Cribs video, by the way. We did one, too.
That's the video I seen. Was there puppets?
Yes.
I knew I seen that.
We'll get
video.
into the puppet in a little bit.
Okay.
We're going to be here for a while. I'm pretty sure this is going to be divided into 2 or 3 parts, people.
2 or 3.
Special Mac news. There's an unedited version right now floating around the internets of Monster Mac Cribs, may I add. But it's unedited and it's not on the internet. So,
And it's old as hell, dog.
so you probably never see it. But it could come out on the Monster Mac show randomly.
So anyhow,
never
let me
know.
tell you about this Curry Boy story, which may or may not be true. So
Yeah, you don't have to
basically,
whisper.
recently, me and Dick got a win over Rui and Triplicious. This
At
was the night of the Big
NCW.
City Rumble. This son of a gun was one elimination away from winning the whole thing.
When he was eliminated by our friend Scott Levesque.
Yes, and he was very down in the dumps.
Pushing
But
ahead of me.
this man has elevated his status so much in the last year. I'm so proud of him. And don't forget, he's only technically been in NCW for less than a year. So just imagine what he's going to do in 12 months from now. So, by being the last man eliminated, you're already the favorite to win next year's Rumble.
See, this is why we're a tag team, because Steve knows that Dick Lane is on the up and up.
Well, I had to beat you to win the match, which we'll talk
Hey,
to get you, but we'll talk.
We're not talking about that right now. Steve.
Not now,
We're
not
talking
now. Later,
about-
later. We're doing this in a
talking about how
timeline.
great I am.
You are great, but also that's why Delilah wanted to be our manager, wrestler partner. But anyhow, let's talk about this event. Basically,
See, Delilah became our manager because she was attracted to Dick Lane. She got
I know
caught up.
she wasn't wearing a shell; she was wearing a robe.
She got caught up. She saw me. She saw how my body looked in the super suit, and she liked it. You know.
Yeah, but let me tell you.
Super body in that
Let me
super
tell
suit,
about
I'll tell
this.
you
Like,
what.
So after the event, me, Delilah, Dick, and Curry Boy, for some reason, decided to go to Applebee's. Curry Boy might have not understood what we were talking about when we said we were going to a restaurant.
Right.
He understood Dick was down in the dumps. And apparently, from what he understood, it's like, me, understand. Meet you up. This is how done in Japan. He goes to the bathroom. We're ordering. All of a sudden, he comes back out. Naked. We had to grab Delilah's robe, throw it on him, and leave right away.
So you guys didn't even get any half-price appetizers?
No, we didn't even.
Not even one?
we went
Not
to-
even a
We had to go to
mozzarella?
McDonald's after.
You think it was at some kind of spa or something?
No, he like you know how a woman would try to cheer her man up after he
Oh.
and apparently
No.
Curry
No, I
Boy,
don't know
you know,
anything about
you know,
that.
Curry Boy is a little bit of he's not queasy, but nothing wrong with that. Anyway, he just wanted he apparently
No.
from what we were able to translate, he went through something like this in Curry Knees or wherever he's from in Japan, and someone over there of the opposite gender did the same thing to cheer him up. So he figured he would work on Richard here, not understanding that you're not supposed to do that in a restaurant.
My question is, does Applebee's have curry?
I doubt it. But
I doubt it,
Applebee's
but
in Norwood
apparently-
now has a picture of all of them in the front of the door that says "Do not sell food to the turtles in time."
Apparently so.
We're banned from Applebee's?
I think we might be.
Yeah. So anyhow,
He was allowed into the McDonald's naked, though. They had no problem with it. But just-
no. Yeah, absolutely.
Shocked me. Applebee's is a respectable establishment, very classy.
They were
joint.
about to call the police until about 100 people actually were waiting in line for food, and they realized they were going to get good business, and they decided. I will say this: you're never going to see any naughty pictures of Curry Boy, but if you do, you're a very lucky person.
Very lucky indeed, he says.
Yes, but let's just say that, as anything else, Curry Boy, you did succeed about cheering Dick up because clearly he had other things on his mind than what happened at the Big City Rumble after that. Like we all did, and we hope it doesn't happen again.
Ficka. All right, let's rewind it a little bit, and we're going back to when you found Slam Tech.
Yes, thank you. So my stepmom, my happy place, Susan Weiner, helped me find Bob Evans.
Now, when you call her your happy place, are you closing your eyes and picturing like the Happy Gilmore style?
Oh, no,
like
no,
a
no,
sheep
no, no,
carrying
no.
2 mugs of beer while a midget rides, like while Robbie rides a horse by and stuff like
You're
that.
talking about the Happy Gilmore, Billy
yeah.
Madison.
He's got a happy place.
No, but just, I should though, but I'm not much into it.
All right,
I just think that everything is better when I'm around her.
gotcha.
She's like a mom that's not a mom. Well, technically, that's what she is.
Monster Mac's like my mom. That's not my mom.
Okay. How I discovered Slam Tech, and that week I started training. It took me a bit to train or get into the habit, but he is right. I wasn't there as often as I could because I lived out
Now,
of state.
was the story true? Was the flip-flop story true?
I forgot all about that. I think I was out of it that day, and I decided to go to class because I had to go to class, and I forgot to wear normal shoes. It was very hot out that day.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Day. And I was like, I probably got very little sleep that day. Yeah. And it's just like I wasn't thinking right, so I did apologize for that. Let's just say I went the next day.
You'll stub your toes good, dude, man. That stuff hurts. You gotta wrestle in boots.
I know. I think I did.
Or
I
shoes.
think I did try to train barefoot, but it wasn't a good idea.
No, definitely not.
No, Bob could tell that I was going to probably break my toes and decided to just let me go home.
So I'm gonna hit him with the classic training number 1 question. What kind of class was it? Who was in the class at the time?
Well, basically, I could
training.
give the short answer and say that everyone that
That buddy named off.
yeah, but I'll for the sake of people who may not decide to listen to that podcast, which you should, by the way, along with the JT Dunn one and every other episode of the
Maybe not-
Mackcast.
maybe not every
and
other
now that
one.
they're members of Turtles in Time, we get to promote the whole show.
You can leave Eric Dillon out.
Yeah. There
And
was
there's
a-
also
there
a Dick Lane
It's
episode.
called Just Dicking Around. And we talked about comics and
You talk about dicks?
wrestlers and movies. Well, we talked to a Dick. I mean, we don't. Maybe if there was like maybe if Robin was. also
Wait.
here.
What if you played the episode of the Botchamania that actually showed Ole Anderson and Gordon Soley opening up a package from a fan that turned out to be a chocolate
A
dildo?
chocolate penis, which was very strange. We seen it earlier. We watched it earlier before we
How
started the
how
podcast.
did that make air?
I don't know, but
How
I'm
did
glad
something
that it
like
did.
that?
I mean, I can't lie. I'm glad that it exists.
So am I, but was that like a rib from Ole Anderson? 'Cause
That would be great. He asked him to be modeled for it. It was tremendous.
we probably did.
It was a rocket ship. Come on, people.
But it looked like a dick from a camera angle.
A rocket ship with pubic hairs.
Oh, yes, but let's get back to everything. Bob Evans clearly was in the class. Rocco Bruzi.
Bob Evans was not in the class.
No, he was a trainer.
He was running the class. yeah.
Doug Summers.
Yep.
Afterburn. Paul.
Afterburn. Jesus, I haven't heard
Ray
that name
Diamond
before,
and Paul. Oh, God, I can't.
Ray Diamond.
Paul
Photo.
Lombardi.
No, Paul Lombardi wasn't in Afterburn.
No, but Paul Lombardi was also there.
I have a picture of Afterburn in the other room. I gotta find it before you
Yeah,
leave.
Paul Cruz, I think that was his name. Worked.
Okay.
Chris Venom. Brian Fury, I think, might have been in it at the time.
Was Venom training or was he?
He was
helping-
training and he was also a student.
helping
So was
Bob.
Dan Freitas and Brian Nunes. Chunky Bufunky came
Pride.
down once in a while. Also Sid Reeves, Kyle Murphy. I'm sorry.
Yep.
And if Johnny Idol may have made an appearance too, I forget so many others. If I forgot to name you, I apologize. Also, Drew Donaldson was there, who I have a funny story about because I know I'm gonna get ribbed on this if I don't. I will talk about the list in a minute because
The list is a thing that people keep bringing up.
yes, and
I don't
will-
know what it is.
You know what the list is?
Steve, I know what the list is. I know
Oh,
your
good,
dark
because
secret, Steve. I'm a
someone
supervillain.
better. If there's a chance to record this portion and put it online, you might want to get the camera now because I look forward to seeing Dick's eyes bug out when he finds this out.
Your list. All right. Before we go into the list,
Steve, am I on the list, Steve?
Clearly, you are. You're my tag partner.
Ooh. Made the list.
Yeah, but
Made the list,
you
finally.
may not be happy about what that list is. So
oh no.
let's.
But,
So basically,
before we get too far into the list,
the training.
training. Yes.
I will say this: I loved. There's a reason I haven't gone to another training camp since. Although I did try going to JT's class, is that we really didn't focus on like the out of ring training. We did do some stretches and whatnot, but
Yeah.
mostly it was a class for the actual wrestling, and that's
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
why I succeed. Why I was able to learn so well because Buddy's right about one thing. I am a very limited person. I'm probably never going to do a moonsault. I'm not going to be able to do a hurricanrana. I'm not a technical wizard. I know very little about shooting, but if I ever got into a situation, I do have a little bit of a shoot in me, even though I would never call myself a shooter on any level. Not even a straight shooter, but I guess unless you count today.
But I would have to say it seemed like you found your niche, though. Like,
Yeah, but
when
I will
you
say this.
find that, you don't need all that stuff. Like, you could, as long as you know
basically,
what you're doing.
I will say this: Bob Evans and Dan Freitas in particular helped me find my character, and also Michael Sane. I almost forgot him. How could I forget?
Sane.
Michael Sane was also a huge factor in my training.
Psycho Mike.
He was actually one person I credited responsible for Jungle Boogie. He actually came up with that thing because I was just going to come out. We're jumping too far ahead. I'm sorry. Let's cut that part out. But basically,
We
Michael
are
Sane.
not cutting that out, Dick. But we can go.
Michael
we can go
Sane
back
was a
little bit.
huge part, which I'll get into in a minute. But basically, about a few months before my debut, actually on the same day that we even learned that I could make my debut, one time I came out for training. I just got these new singlets, the blue singlet, which I wear with Dick Lane, that I've had since my debut. 11 years old, about to hit 12, going strong. Really gotta get some new gear someday. I probably will eventually, but this is how you know I am very limited and stuff. When I started training, I did not know that when you wear a singlet, you're supposed to wear underwear. And
Are you? Because I still to this day don't wear.
Yeah, and fans,
underwear under my
I wish
singlet.
I could say I credit the Ninja Turtles as a reason for my name, which is true. I wish I could say there's like a pet that I had, which is somewhat true. I wish I could come up with a different kayfabe story of how the turtle happened, but the simple truth is, I got the name Steve the Turtle Weiner because I walked out of the changing room in time, and Dan Freitas responds, "Oh, look at the turtle on that guy," because apparently happened to him as well.
What you meant to say, Steve, was that the mutagen spilled on you and transformed your DNA. That was the story that you told me.
I told you that was one version. There's always two sides.
The secret of the ooze, Steve.
The ooze secret, Steve.
Well, it could be that, but it depends on your point of view. There are two sides to every story, so take your pick.
Yeah, whichever one you want to figure out.
But on that same day, Bob Evans announced that in April, because at this time Slam Tech was associated with NCW, and they would be until like 2005, and ECW, I'm sorry. That always confuses me.
It's okay. New England Championship
Bob
Wrestling,
announced
Sheldon,
announced
right?
he was going to have a doubleheader in Seekonk, where the afternoon show would be basically focusing on the guys from Slam Tech. And it would be at the Seekonk Congregational Church Hall on April 23rd. And the person who sold the most tickets for the event would win the main event, the Battle Royal, or the Royal Rumble. And guess who sold over 100 tickets?
Was it Steve the Turtle Weiner?
Yep. I made my debut. Michael Singh gave me Jungle Boogie as a theme. I came out for the first time as Steve the Turtle Weiner. I won the match. They gave me a trophy, which surprised me. I got to keep it, and
Awesome.
And of course, the name stuck. I don't think I could. I don't think I could ever go by a different name because it would be hard to remember. Just because I.
Now, what did the ring attire look like
Oh,
at the time? And how'd you know that Steve the Turtle Weiner is what you wanted to go with? So you were hanging dong, and the guys made fun of you or whatever. But how'd
for
you
some
know,
reason,
like,
it just stuck.
This is what I want to do.
For some reason, it just stuck.
So you pretty much based it off the Ninja Turtles cartoon.
So after that, you're showing up to practice. They're like, "Hey, what's up, Turtle?"
That's basically all I remember. But yeah, that's what happened. From 2005, my wrestling career began. Although at the beginning, I started out. First, I did camera work, and then I became a referee. I actually have about 5-6 years experience as a referee because I also refereed and wrestled at the same time. No, I did not have the mask. My first, let me see. I think. Ugh, this is why I know this is going to be in multiple parts because it's going to take me a while to think. Thank God this is going to be edited. When I started, I had a blue singlet with the yellow logo, which I continue to use to this day. The only thing is I had white kick pads at the time. I only went to blue furries and other furries because my boots started falling apart. But that's the only.
Some furries over him.
Yeah, and that's the only difference that's changed for my gear since. A singlet is always just associated with me as a wrestler. Because
Yeah.
I do have minimal, but I have some experience as an amateur wrestler. I used to take amateur wrestling when I was a kid. It wasn't that good. I never won a match, but it did help
But
me.
you were involved.
Yeah,
How was your experience winning that battle royal?
amazing, absolutely amazing.
Is
Definitely,
that
definitely,
what you did you know that I want to keep doing this?
absolutely.
I
I think
recall.
my dad thought I was going to be one and done, but I think one of the people I got to
you said
credit.
you sold a bunch of tickets, so your family obviously was there.
I got to also credit a person named Roger Marshall, who's been a really good friend for about the past 10 years, and also been one of my dad's closest confidants for the past decade. He's the one who convinced my dad that he was not letting me fulfill my destiny by not just letting me do this wrestling thing. And that's the reason I'm still in it today. So thank you, Roger. So anyhow,
Yeah. So after that first match,
after that it was like 6 months before I had my second one.
6 months now, you still go to practice every week?
Yeah.
and-
Yeah, for about on and off, but most of the time I was there. And it was around that time I actually had my first appearance in NCW in 2005. Oddly enough, I appeared for the first time at the Big City Rumble as a ring announcer.
So you were the ring announcer for the evening?
Yeah, and I got everyone's name wrong to the point where they had to replace me for the main event. I called Nocturne Nortalk.
Nortalk. I like it.
That's what people remember about that. I just had a suit. I was there. It was 5 minutes from home. It worked.
Now, why so long between the two matches?
Training. Clearly, I wasn't
More
ready.
training.
And also, Bob wanted to protect me because I'm autistic, and I wanted to make sure that.
No, I was going to ask, when you signed up, was that something that you spoke to Bob with?
I didn't know at the
beforehand,
time.
Or
I don't think I did, but I think he knew. I think my stepmom and my dad told him
may
about
have
it.
spoke to him, yeah.
Originally, my dad helped pay for my training, but after a while, because I wanted to make sure that I paid my dues, I basically paid 7/8 of my training.
Yeah, you paid for most of it.
Yeah. I will say this, I paid my dues. If anyone thinks I haven't paid my dues, trust me, I have paid my dues.
Now, do you feel like Bob took a special liking to you, maybe took you under his wing? Or
I would like to think so,
maybe
because...
I don't want to say babied you, but like...
No. Bob treated me like everyone else.
Right.
He never gave me special treatment. And as a matter of fact, one time I overslept during a cage rental we had, and he chewed me out about it, and it would have been what he'd done with anyone else.
Yeah.
I never had that much heat before in my entire wrestling career, and I don't know if I'll ever will again.
Well, Bob being that mad at you?
Yeah, but at the same time, many years later, Bob told me once that I was like a godsend to him because, and I hope I'm not revealing anything he doesn't want out there, and I won't say that, but I will say this. Bob one time told me that I was like a godsend to him. All I will say is that him meeting me helped to prepare for something down the line.
Gotcha.
And until he says it publicly, I'm not going to say anything.
I
Because
got
I don't
you.
know
Yeah,
if he
yeah.
made it public or not. So, Bob, I hope you until I know you said it, I didn't say it. I hope you know what I'm talking about because I credit Bob Evans completely. There would not be a Steve the Turtle Weiner wrestling-wise without Bob Evans. Bob Evans taught me it was okay not to do much in a
Right.
match. It was okay to do less. He taught me that being a character was more crowd invested than being a
Just being a guy out there grappling.
Yeah. I could go if I needed to. I prefer not to. I prefer just interacting with people and
Yeah.
just doing very little. I like to think of myself as sane Eugene.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Sane Eugene.
The sane Eugene, okay.
Yes. I'm what Eugene would have been if he...
You're better than that.
No,
Come on,
I'm no
that's
Dick
Eugene.
Densmore.
Come on.
I'm no Dick Densmore. He's a tremendous wrestler, but the character he portrayed in WWE, I would say I'm a sane Eugene.
Gotcha. So you 6 more months of practice, you have your second match. When do you start wrestling on a regular basis?
I would have to say 2006.
2006,
Maybe
okay.
2007. 2006 was an important year for me because that's when I met two of the most important people in my career.
Which is,
Chris Hero and JT Dunn.
now you met both of them the same year? That's
They-
funny, since they didn't know it. I mean, they may have known each other, but they didn't start teaming until like
No, I don't know if they even knew of each other. I don't know.
8 years later or whatever it was.
You have to go back to listen to Dunn's podcast with
Yeah.
you, but I think
Little known fact, I don't go back and listen to any of the podcasts.
you should. It would help you prepare for this stuff. I'm
Nah.
going to say this. It helped me tremendously listening to the Buddy podcast because it helps being the fact that I was in attendance for the Dunn podcast because it helped me get like relaxed and being okay to be shooting, you know. Open, yeah.
French wine always helps me prepare for these.
Yeah, well, I'm on
podcasts.
medication and I don't drink. My stepfather was a terrible alcoholic.
I'm out of French wine today, but you brought some sodas and pizza. I don't even need it.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're high off of the pizza
By the
now,
way,
man.
Dick, I have some. Where is it? Sprite.
Pepperoni pizza. It's there. You're just not touching it. There it
Sprite.
is.
If you want some, you want to say something while I drink some Sprite?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
Like, ladies and gentlemen, I want to just tell you quickly since he's here. Dick Lane is a tremendous wrestler. How me and Dick got together, basically, we wrestled last year, October, and there was just something about him in that match that just intrigued me, and I wanted him to be my tag partner.
was it his devilish good looks, or
Well, that was
his
one of them, but just
meta-human body he's rocking underneath that jumpsuit?
He reminded me of like a polar opposite of me, but a similarity at the same time. Many people don't notice, but championship success-wise, I'm not going to probably be remembered as a great champion. I've only held 3 singles titles, which I'll get into, but I'm probably going to be more remembered as a tag team champion with like Rob the Giant. I would say I have and Doug Summers. I have great success as a tag team wrestler, and I wanted to form a tag team, but I had to convince him somehow. So I figured the only way to convince him to make it work was have him have no choice until he was willing to do it.
Yeah, just force him into being your tag partner.
So I challenged him to a match since the last time he ran, and we went to a Falls Count Anywhere. And how in the world did you and I actually manage to wrestle 38 days? Because I wish we could have paid the cameraman the fee to cover the 37 that weren't shown on NCW, because the things and places we wrestled in are going to be stories of legend.
There was a lot of rest holds during that 38 days.
I feel like you're both just, it's like 3 a.m., you're both just napping, you got him in a chin lock, falling over.
I could have sworn because of the night camera we had to have installed to make sure that we had proof that someone got the pin, that We just were asleep. We didn't sleep together, but we were on
That
bed.
camera. Were you guys just in an empty room together in the dark? Like,
But
what
we
do you
had to
mean?
place cameras in places that people would know where we were actually wrestling.
So
But the
NCW
footage got
just put you
destroyed.
guys in a room for 30 days. You're like,
38
grapple.
days, 37 days, the 38th. We were
Get at it,
in Norwood
boys.
Somehow, we ended up traveling like 30 miles from Providence to
No.
Norwood, wrestling on the highway, trying to avoid cops and everything. There's this
After-
awesome chase scene, by the way, that'll never make the air. Where we're on 95, trying to avoid cops like the Blues Brothers, trying to get back
No.
to the arena.
How good?
I don't know. It got destroyed by the cops.
Steve, my question was, and to you, Dick Lane, as well. How good was that wrestling payday? That must have been like a $35 on that one.
Right? $1 a day?
I'm since this is a shoot, I can be honest. I don't know about Dick, but between $20.
Yes, hey.
And I'm pretty sure we got paid $20.
Dick Lane, what did you get?
I got half that, Steve.
Well, I'm talking about both shows. That we were basically the match started and the match ended.
Yeah, I got that.
10
too,
apiece.
Steve. Yeah.
By 20, you mean 20,000, right?
Yes, yeah.
Because we speak in such broad terms here. We say 20
20
G's.
G's. Yes, how do you
Not
think
20
he,
each.
How do you think he
20
pours the
Gs.
gas for his transportation technology?
Of course. So you're starting to wrestle on the regular.
Yeah, originally Slam Tech was my home.
Yeah.
I don't think I only had one match for NCW. I can't remember the match with Tom. I can't remember his name. Tony Montana. I can't remember if it was under the NCW banner or the EPW banner, but that was
Okay.
officially my Cage, Death Cage, whatever. The place online that the guy from Germany records all the people's matches records it at, but apparently,
Okay, yeah.
even though I debuted in 2005, 2006 is my first year listed for some reason.
Okay.
I was a referee, and we did this thing where Tony Montana called out anyone, and he challenged me, and I was a referee, and I won the match.
That's not a bad way to start.
Yeah.
Now, so you're wrestling on the reg. When did you start rocking the full turtle, like the full getup, the mask, head to toe, all green?
I would have to say 2008 when I made my debut for Jakar. We're jumping ahead here because I got to go back to 2006, how I met Chris Hero.
Oh yes. I'm sorry, we skipped right. We started rambling after that.
Yeah, this
You
is going
met
to be a lot of
Hero
rambling,
and,
by the way, people, so I apologize for that.
Hero and Dunn, and you said there were two.
I can't remember.
important
JT,
meetings.
I can't remember where we met in 2006. I thought it was 2007 or 8, but we definitely met around that time, and I could have sworn the first place I remember crossing paths with JT was the aftermath for a Ring of Honor show in Massachusetts. I met Chris Hero up the road here in Somerset when I was a referee for a promotion that was one and done. Chris Hero was the CCW champion at the time, and he opened the show, and I was actually just chatting with him for a bit. He actually let me, despite not asking, let me hold the CCW belt.
Yeah.
We just connected. He remembered me when I saw him again in Ring of Honor. We just became friends ever since.
That show, the one and done, you said you did it in Somerset. What was the main event of that show?
I think. Oh, this is a funny story because this is
Samoa Joe and Jose?
No, it's actually Abyss versus someone, and this is a good Abyss story because
Okay.
this is why I love pro wrestling. Abyss wrestled on the show as a babyface.
Yeah.
A good guy.
Yeah.
There was a kid in the crowd that was terrified of Abyss because, Abyss 96
Yeah.
clearly is a heel,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
for some reason was the babyface of the show. Abyss goes up to this girl, and by the end of the show, basically I'll say this girl becomes the #1 Abyss fan.
Yeah.
Fast forward a week later to a show in Connecticut, which I think may have been Triple C. Abyss is on the show again. Same kid in the crowd. Abyss is working as a heel. Guess what? Traumatizes the kid
Get it all
to
over
shell.
again.
This is why I love pro wrestling. You can become someone's #1 Bailey Izzy fan one week, and then next week you're mud.
Yeah, and just switched it up on him.
Like a switchblade.
So you met Hero, you met Dunn, and those are obviously people you've stayed close to.
Yeah, another person I stayed close to who's no longer with us that year was Larry Sweeney. I think I met Larry and one of my favorite Jakarta wrestlers of all time, Shane Storm, in 2006 when they did a match at MXW, which is Joel Gertner's old promotion.
Yes.
I was
Didn't Joe Gertner run this show where it had like it was a tournament and he was like picking names out of like a
yeah, that was the
hat?
last one he ran. I was not at that one,
Okay.
but I was at one. I actually worked for Joe Gertner one time where his show started 2 hours late.
Yeah.
I paid to be a referee because he had to ask for it at the last minute. It was a crazy show, but I met Sweeney there, and Sweeney is another person I became very close with. I didn't even know he was going to debut for Ring of Honor until he showed up that night, the night before Final Battle.
Yep.
And I gotta say this, since I'm jumping ahead here. Before I joined Chikara, I was at Ring of Honor. People don't maybe not know this because I'm like those blink and you'll miss people.
Yeah.
I was a part of the ring crew for Ring of Honor for probably, at least on the East Coast branch, from 2006 to between 2009 and 11.
Were Dunn and Marco still part of the ring crew?
I don't think so. As a matter of fact, they might have been.
They might have been the Ring Crew Express.
Yes,
I love those
they
guys.
were doing ring crew at least at Edison, New Jersey. I do know that.
Okay.
But
Now, how did you get the hookup in the ROH?
I just showed up. That's probably the best thing people don't understand. If you are a wrestler and you can prove that you actually aren't just a fan, just show up. Just the worst thing that can happen is they say no. I just showed up and offered to do ring crew. I explained who I was, and I was a trained person. I just wanted to come and help out. I was just helping anyway. I did security that night, and I was there with them ever since. And when they went to HD, went on that HD channel, and also around the time when I realized it just wasn't worth going to all these shows for no pay. Yeah, that's the only reason I stopped. Otherwise, I probably would have kept doing it. And also, I'm getting older. My body.
Ring crew, you were still doing security and stuff.
Yeah, that's probably a reason why you don't see me wrestling as often because they were the names at the time, and they still are. But it's just I was always drawn to the people that I felt could have gotten me more exposure, which is probably one of the reasons I branched out Turtles in Time because also I want to help these guys out as well.
Right, get people to start.
Which we'll get into in a
figure
minute.
out who Dick Lane is and stuff.
Yeah. Dick Lane. I want to get Dick Lane in Chikara. I want this guy to be in the Young Lions Cup so bad.
Dick needs to be in Chikara.
Which we'll get into in a minute because Chikara is going to be a huge part of my story as well.
Of course.
Of course, then EPW, of course, around this time, of course, was formed when Bob Evans and Sheldon Goldberg, for reasons I do not know, decided to part ways.
Maybe we can get Bob on here sometime, and he can.
Oh, I would love that very much. I look forward
to talk about those things. I can just talk to Bob about just positivity because I got that PMA for days.
If you guys
and
do,
according to Facebook, so does Bob Evans.
If you guys do a Bob Evans podcast, let me know. I'll come down for that one. I'll bring Dick Lane too. But just because he was my trainer, I love to hear him talk. One thing I will never get tired of is hearing Bob Evans talk. One of the greatest things Bob has is just knowledge.
Bob Evans called me Schmaltzy for the first year that he knew me.
I don't even know what Schmaltzy means.
Me either, man. Me either.
But where was I? Think. Oh, yeah.
Chikara.
No, not Chikara.
ROH.
ROH. Then, of course, this is when the Slam Tech
EPW
split happened. Oh, funny story I got to tell about it. There are two stories I got to tell very quickly before the split happened.
Yes.
The first story is... You're welcome, by the way, Dan Tanaka. One time, NCW had a tournament called the Steel 16. It was in Framingham, Mass. Before they renovated that building where wrestling shows happen.
Yep.
Into that like school thing or whatever. We spent the night in Framingham, and this was during a week where there was just downpour of rain every day. And we all got motel rooms at Motel 6. Me, Rocco Abruzzi, Rich Bass, which, by the way, Rich Bass is another person people need to keep their eyes on. Keep eyes on, I'm sorry.
Rich Bass is the man.
He is the man.
I just want to give a shout out to Rich Bass because I recently just watched a match that we had that he did commentary on, and he said some pretty nice things about Mag Attack, and I appreciate that, Rich.
Yes.
He said horrible things about me, Dick Lane, and Tom Billington and Izana. So poo-poo on you, Rich Bass.
It's probably because you guys suck. That might have something to do with it.
Well, let me continue. And also, Rich Bass and Drew Donaldson were there. It was late. I decided to go to bed. The other guys went to another motel room where the other guys were watching something. I went to bed. I don't know how to explain this because this is like the best perfect timing possible. Well, at some point during the night, I wake up. For some reason, I start waking up very drowsy. Like my eyes are closed, but then they're slowly opening.
Yeah.
Around this time, Rocco Abruzzi decides he's going to jump on one bed to the other while I'm on it. Rocco's jumping midair. My eyes opening. I'm like, oh my God, Rocco Abruzzi! I'm trying to get off the bed, and he connects. We both go off the bed through the glass of the building. the whole window shatters.
Took down the whole thing.
Is that real, Steve? That really happened?
Yes.
Into the window.
We Janetti the window.
And
we didn't go.
What happened after that? You guys had to go to did you guys get a new room?
No, apparently the manager was just, he couldn't get in trouble with the cops, so we let it go.
He's like, hey, man, these guys broke my window. And they're like, we don't care. I'm like, all right. So you guys bust through the window. What's the second quick story you wanted to tell?
The list.
The list. Now I was gonna let's get to the list. We'll do the list now. We can bang that list out.
The list, basically, there was a time
What
when...
is the list, Steve?
No, I got to tell how the list came to be.
Okay,
The list started one day when me, Dan Freitas, and Drew Donaldson, I believe his name is. Drew...
Donovan.
Donovan, thank you. Drew,
You're
I
welcome.
apologize for getting your name wrong. I know too many Drews.
I went to a wedding that he was at.
Oh, wow.
Paul Lombardi's.
We were there one time, and Dan Freitas was just... I'm not going to talk about what we were all talking about because some of the stuff was personal to Dan. Basically, for some reason, the talk got intimate, and all of a sudden, I decided to just list people if I was into men who I would be
Whom?
intimate with.
Of whom he would be intimate with.
Yes, and that's the list. It's basically a list of who I would bang if I was gay.
And Dick Lane, the face on Dick Lane right now.
I
He's
told you
covering
should
his
have
eyes.
recorded it.
'Cause he
You
just
should have
found out what
recorded
to
it. You should have recorded it.
You're on that list, right, Dick? I have to be too.
Now you want to be on the list.
Somewhere down in like the 25 range, I'm sure.
Dick, you're probably number one right now, although
Number one.
although I gotta
Oh.
be honest, either Mike Bennett or JT Dunn might have you beat.
No, this was if. That's only if, right?
Well, I mean, look at that. Look at the abs.
No, I was gonna. Well, I can't
The
go
abs
there.
on those gentlemen.
Those abs, and don't forget, Mike's got things.
Maria is one of the. What do
I'm
you
not
mean?
gonna say that. Maria's a classy lady, and so is Mike. Mike Bennett's a classy man. You're not a lady.
I thought you were talking about his wang. I thought you were saying
Well, that too.
He had a wang. I think most dudes have wangs.
Well, unless you're on TV and you drop your pants and it's a part of SVU and they're trying to tell a story about a guy. Well, we're not going there. It could be someone listening and don't want to get traumatized about
Listen,
someone.
Steve, I watch a ton of Law and Order SVU. Too much, I'd say. Even
I'm more of a Law and Order fan. I'm not much into the sex crimes show.
I'm all about the sex crimes. Not in real life. I mean on television.
I have a story about this list. You see, one time, this was before Steve knew who I was. Steve came in to the JT Dunn training, and JT was talking to Steve about the list and asked Steve to put the members of the class in order of a list. Yeah. And Steve put me on the list that first time. So now I've rose up the list as the
From not just the JT training list,
exactly.
but the all-around pro wrestling list.
Yeah.
Exactly. I've moved up to the real list, and I'm kind of proud of that, Steve.
Yes.
I
You are
take
lucky
no
number
offense
4.
to it.
And this is when he first met you too, and this is pre-super suit too. So he's going for all you, baby. You know
All
what I
you.
mean?
All dick, everything. All there.
All natural dick.
All natural.
El natural. All right, so who was on this list then? I'm sure the list has changed. Everybody wants
Well,
to...
clearly Ray Diamond would have been one if he wasn't the age
Clearly,
he
you
was.
say clearly, which is a weird way to start that sentence.
No, clearly, but I'm sorry. Ray was the most handsome member of EPW at the time.
Now, when you met him, was he still like 14 years old?
I don't think he ever stopped being 14 years old.
Yeah,
He
he
found
just,
the fountain of
he
youth.
just 14 forever.
He should have been the kid in the song Forever Young.
Yeah.
Why are you hugging that kid like he's a newborn baby? I mean, he's 8 years old, dude. Hold him another way.
So EPW,
Rob Stewart, you're gonna get arrested.
EPW's kicking. You're working on the regular basis. You said you did some NCW stuff. You were doing a lot of
Most of the
ROH
most
ring
of the
crew
things
and
I was-
stuff. Were you
I was-
telling people about that? Were you open about how you were doing ring crew or you were doing security?
I think so. I mean, like, I don't know why I wouldn't tell people about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was always taught to be honest to my trainer. I mean, like, always tell the person you're training what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, always be respectful
So
to the
you
person.
always
that
let
broke
Bob
you in.
know, like, hey, I'm gonna try this or I'm gonna do this.
Absolutely. I figured at the very least, I've always tried to branch people off into like
Yeah.
helping out. I try to get people to help as much as I can. Also, before that as well, my first forte into wrestling though was probably the USWF. Like Buddy, I was also part of the USWF.
That was the public access thing.
I
right?
never wrestled for them when they were backyard, but I did do it in the
when
pro
it,
leagues.
later on when it.
My favorite match had to be with Kevin E.
Okay.
Although I do have some classic matches with Michael Elias.
Now, what year was this?
We're jumping ahead here. This is probably 2009, 2010.
Okay, so the USWF was still kicking then.
It was the resurrection. This was the pro era.
Okay. Now, you said you like to help people out, and that kind of makes sense. You helped a lot of the New England guys get showcased in Shikara,
Which we'll get to in a minute.
which we'll
'cause we
get
got-
to after. But
we
how
got-
did the Shikara thing happen? How did
Very simple. Probably the first match I ever had on DVD was for this promotion called APW. Not to be confused with your APW. It was an APW and I hope I'm getting the initials right, that was run by the old Ring of Honor music crew, Wayne and Mary.
Okay.
They were in Vermont. They invited me up there if I could make it. And I was the pre-show opener for that promotion. They only run once a year. They basically were they were like the Vermont version of Wrestle Jam.
Okay.
Which I was not used to at the time. And this is also before my interspecies incident, which we'll talk about in a minute. This was in 2007. And I wrestled the Hound Dog, but a lot of the Jakara guys were going to be on the show.
Uh-huh.
This is where I met Brody Lee. This is where I met Larry Sweeney, really, or like more intimately as a wrestler, not just as a fan.
Yeah.
I met Cheech and Cloudy.
Nice.
I know I met Delirious. I got more intimate with Delirious there. And a lot of people were on that show. I had the DVDs somewhere. I should have brought it in. I just decided if I was going to do this interview, I'm not going to bring in stuff pre-prepared because if you can't do if you can't do a shoot interview off the hook, I mean, like, you shouldn't be doing an interview.
It's all smooth sailing here on the Mack Cast. We like to just to talk to people. You know what I mean?
And eat
It's
pizza.
not gonna straight out
Straight out of Compton.
Yeah.
Great music. I
That
love
it
that
is.
song.
So you meet these guys.
And I just told them I knew that they had a show coming up in Connecticut, and I actually was a great historian of Chikara in New England. They had one college show in Vermont, and they made their official New England debut in Connecticut. They then went to Massachusetts, then New Hampshire, then Maine. Those were both one and done. And then they last debuted in Rhode Island. I didn't get up beyond that Rhode Island card because of...
But you showed face, though, right?
Showed face. But on that, basically a week later after the APW show, I just showed up. That's how I got involved in Chikara. I just showed up. And Hero was going to be on the show. And Hero and I believe Cheech and Cloudy and Colin Delaney and Jimmy Olsen were the reasons I got to do those 2 promos that were on the opening of the DVD or as a bonus. My tryout interviews as the Blue Ninja.
I seen an awesome poster with you on it. It was like you holding, it was like a cartoon drawing of Steve the Turtle Weiner. You were holding like a Chikara flag, I think.
Yeah, show me that one. I don't know if I ever remember that one.
No, I know. It was pretty awesome looking. But what was the first experience here in Chikara, match-wise?
I will never forget seeing Eddie Kingston versus Tim Donst.
Yeah.
That was one of the most brutal matches I ever seen. And for whatever reason, I wanted to wrestle Eddie ever since. 10 years later, for some reason, I just want to get brutalized by him.
Yeah.
I figured if I could survive a beating by Eddie Kingston, I will be known in wrestling.
Yeah.
Of course, at this point in my career, that'll probably be the end of my career, but at least it'll give me something to remember by.
So that hasn't taken place yet, but the possibilities are still there. First
Kingston,
experience.
I want to wrestle. Hero, I want to wrestle. We got to get into JT Dunn in a bit, but I want to wrestle him again. I want to win the tag belts with Dick Lane. I want to see Dick Lane in Chikara somehow. And there's a lot I want to do, but we'll get into that a bit.
So what was your first match in Chikara? Because the gimmick was there. It fit.
Well, we're jumping around a bit, but I made my first
We can
appearance.
jump back if you want.
Oh yeah, but
Dick has the technology. He has that time machine.
my first match at Chikara.
Going back to the time that Steve joined Takara. Now.
Well, in Chikara, I had that appearance at the Showdown in Crisis Land. Continued to help out more. I actually drove down a month later to Philadelphia when the Briscoes came in for the first of 2 times.
Uh-huh.
And then I just kept showing up. And my first match, which is probably one of my top 5, is when I got invited to the Young Lions Cup.
Oh, nice.
I got to wrestle Ophidian, and because Jason Blade couldn't make the show, and it's also where I met, got reacquainted with Drew Cordero of Beyond Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
It's where I got the honor, and this is something I will always treasure for the rest of my life, of being the first Rhode Islander ever to compete in Chikara.
First Rhode Islander?
Yep, because Jason Blade couldn't make it, even though I was always scheduled. The order of the card was Jason Blade's match before mine.
Right.
Because he couldn't make
it, it made you the first one?
It made me the first Rhode Islander ever to be in Chikara. There's another important reason that match is so important to me. One of the things my dad survived was spinal fusion surgery.
Yes.
On the eve before Chikara, I found out he was going to have this surgery done. I offered to not go to the event and fly out to be with him. He told me to go because he knew how much it meant to me, because this was my first match outside New England.
Yes.
And he wanted me to have it. Sorry.
It's okay, man. Dude, take your time.
There's a lot about my wrestling life that he and the rest of my family may never understand.
Right.
But he understood enough just how much it meant that my recognition got outside of just one area. So I wanted to be like the stereotypical looped-in territory guy.
Yeah.
To say that I actually had a match outside of a state or territory
Of this area, yeah.
meant the world to me, and I got real emotional. My match with Fidian was one of my favorite matches of all time. Getting to wrestle Fist the next day was also awesome.
Also pretty cool, yeah.
I mean, like I got to team up with Sammy Callahan.
I was going to say, who did you tag with?
And then
against Fist?
I got to team up with Sammy Callahan and the man that eventually became Dasher Hatfield, Ultimo Breakfast. We were called Green Eggs and Sam. Because I was green, he was the eggs, and there was Sam.
Sam, yeah.
And I gotta give this. Sammy Callahan is an awesome, awesome wrestler. I stayed in touch with Sammy for some time. One thing I'm guilty of is losing touch with people when they get signed, just because I don't feel like I have the right to talk to them anymore because they're there and they also don't have time, and I'm like here. And it's like,
but I'm sure they don't feel that way.
and I'm learning that. I'm learning that now. I felt so bad that it took me a while to talk to Hero again after he got signed.
When you're just like, what the hell, Steve? Why haven't you done?
No, but when he got
Throw me
released,
a text, man.
when he got released, and I found out through PWS when they announced him versus Hurricane many times later, I immediately contacted him. I always contact him from Facebook. We just picked up right back off. Hero never held anything against me. He always understood I was different than some other people.
So as soon as he was out of his contract, that's when you could hit him up.
Yeah, I always felt like there's probably like a Steve blocker somewhere. Although there's another.
No contact with Steve the Turtle Weiner.
He might get into some kinky shit with you.
Yeah, it's like, listen up, peoples. There's this kid on the Independence called Steve the Turtle Weiner, and I don't know why, but I don't like that fuck. So you listen up.
I'm making
if
sure
any one of you fuckers actually contacts that no good SOB, then you're fired.
We'll be sure to preface this description of the episode with Steve Weiner does the Vince McMahon impression. I'm sure that'll get an extra 50 downloads.
I thought he had something caught in his throat. I wasn't sure.
I thought either that or it was...
I can even do a good impression of Mick Foley doing an impression of Ric Flair. Hello, sir. My name is Ric Flair. I am the promoter of WCW, and we would like to offer you a contract for $1,000 a week. Woo!
That was Mick Foley doing Rick.
Yeah, that wasn't a Ric Flair. I gotcha. It was Foley doing Flair.
If you don't believe me, listen to his audio version of his first best-selling novel.
The best of his best-selling novels.
That is correct.
I like the first one the best.
That's my point. That's the best one.
Now, was Quack, Mike Quackenbush, was Quack into you right away?
From what I've been told, that, and I hope, Mike, if you're listening, if I'm wrong, I apologize. I'm not sure. I honestly don't know.
Okay.
I did not deal with Mike directly, but you got to understand, because of how my autism works, there's a lot of things I did back in the day which I didn't know were acceptable or not acceptable in wrestling.
Okay.
Like, for one thing, when I started out in Ring of Honor, I tried selling T-shirts to the guys, which they realized that because I'm autistic, and not just selling, but giving them away.
Like your own Steve the Turtle Weiner shirts?
Yeah, and they started wearing them in like the the video centers they used to do. And I found out this later from Hero that apparently Gabe had to eventually set out a mass message to tell the guys to stop wearing my merchandise
Quit wearing the Steve
because it
Turtle
looks like
Weiner.
they were creating like their own tap out line with turtle shirts.
That's pretty hilarious. Is that how I've seen all those guys in Steve Weiner shirts because you were giving them out at the old ROH shows?
Yeah, some I was selling because I just was told.
You're like, who the hell's this guy?
Hustle, hustle, hustle. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
that's Bobby always taught me. Hustle, hustle, hustle. And I also what else? I'm going to be saying a lot of people's. My mind has not
Cool.
been the
If
way.
you want to do a drinking game, take a shot or a swig every time Turtle says, you may or may not be smashed by the end of the podcast.
Absolutely.
Now,
I also.
I might be wrong, but did you tag with a dragon in Chikara?
Oh, we're going to get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Before we get to that in a minute, also take a shot every time Steve the Turtle Weiner makes Training Number 1 edit something out. That's another drinking game you can play.
I'm trying, guys.
No. Listen,
This is
man.
long for me.
No, this is cool, man. We can talk.
I don't want to stop.
You keep. We don't have to stop. You can keep. I mean, we have to eventually stop. I gotta go home and, and all that. But
And clearly, so do I. Unless I want to chat with Dick off camera.
ooh,
We're not on camera.
we're not.
Oh,
we're off camera right now too.
Oh well, behind the camera.
Gotcha. Yeah. Behind. We're gonna turn the mics off, and he's got some smooth words for you, Dick.
I'm gonna comb his muffin chops. I'm gonna comb his muffin chops.
You're gonna put me on a whole new list.
Yes, I am.
People he wants to. That's so funny.
It's true. I'm sorry. I'm not gay, peoples. By the way, I might be queasy. I might go both ways. I'll admit that.
Well, yeah. There's anything wrong with that.
No, nothing at all. I mean, like I watch adult videos. I'm a lonely guy. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I'll get that out there right now. I do. I watch adult videos. People know that. My family knows that. It's not like I broadcast it though to the world.
Right. Yeah. I feel like everybody does, man. It's not.
I mean, like, and I don't worry though. I don't watch anything with kids, animals, piss, or shit.
Thank God. Right. I mean.
Only parody porn for me, Steve.
Parody
personally.
porn. Oh yes, one of my
I
favorite
don't know
parody
the last time I watched
porns.
a regular adult film. It's all been like Batman, Seinfeld, zombies,
Captain America.
Pokemon. I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh no, don't see that one. That will traumatize you.
Freddy Krueger. Yeah,
That exists?
Nightmare on Penis Street. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
There it is.
don't forget
Oh,
the-
I just made a name up.
Did you guys ever see the one about the Clockwork of Orange, but with females instead of men?
I did. I have seen that one.
That's a classic.
that was literally a classic. Like it was made in the 80s and shit.
And it's hot. Well, early 90s.
Early 90s. Sorry.
It's hot too.
Pussy
I mean,
knows
like,
what-
that blonde was amazing.
I don't recall what she looks like off the top of my head.
I know she
but
was blonde, and
I
there was
do
a
not
brunette
doubt
there
it.
too. That was like, ooh la la. I
Oh,
mean,
man.
like, wait. There's more since we're finally getting into this, and I feel comfortable talking about it. One of my favorite dreams I always wanted to do is if I ever got into porn, I would not clearly be a porn star, but I would start my own show
If I
called.
ever got into porn.
I would call it The Science of Porn, where basically I would host like it would of course be an adult series. There would be a lot of nudity.
Tons of nudity.
There'd be tons of
Have you
nudity.
ever seen Dave's old
and it
porn
would basically be about
on,
the science of porn.
What was it on? Showtime or HBO? Dave Attell, the stand-up comedian, would
I have not seen that. I did see the old Showtime show about street sex or whatever.
real sex.
Real sex, yes.
That's a real thing too.
That's how I learned about latex and like the paint on stuff. I was like, ugh.
Dick Lane, you got to activate that time portal device and jump back to to get this Pat Mackcast back on track.
The temporal distortion field to send us back in this conversation before it turned into a porn conversation about Steve's future porn shows that he's going to produce in the future.
Well, if you want to do that, then go ahead. But take
Let's
a
go
picture.
back. Let's go back and talk about Chikara and Ring of Honor and professional wrestling, Steve.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think me talking about porn and Jakar in the same interview is a
Yeah,
good
I feel
idea.
like those are two very opposing.
Yeah, so let's
very
let's
opposite
edit-
sides of the
let's edit
spectrum.
that out.
Yeah.
Okay, no drink game, people.
I'm totally not editing that out, but we can reverse back in time. I don't want to cut out any of the good stuff, Dick.
Oh, that's a good point.
I keep saying Dick. Steve, I don't want to cut out any of the good stuff.
Well, Dick's here.
I know it's because I'm looking at him. I keep looking at him because he's so damn handsome.
Yeah, come over here, you muffin chop. Sit on my lap.
Oh, he's on the lap.
Yeah, I did. I didn't think he was actually going to do it. Get down
Oh
here.
my God! Hold on. They're trying to take a selfie. This is ridiculous. I'm gonna get my phone out too.
Oh, okay.
Mac, are you getting in on that? I feel like we have to all get in on this photo. I might edit this now. This might be the
awesome.
cut.
Hi.
That's the picture.
Wait, I don't think there's only one Mac in there. Again,
We
one more.
got both.
One more. Hi.
This has been one of the
my
most
dick.
one of the most ridiculous podcasts ever.
This better be a high-rating podcast.
I mean, I hope so, but if it's not, I still had a great time doing
I
it.
hope so, because we've got a lot more to talk about.
Tons.
Now, where were we? Where the fuck were we?
You're doing the Shikara on the reg. You're wrestling all over the place. I don't recall if you told me how you got the full bodysuit and why you got rid of the mask.
I just went on eBay, and I bought the suit for Jakara. I got it in time. I don't know how I got inspired by it. I had it for EPW. But the thing is, it was so hot. I had customs done to it to make it easier.
Which is understandable.
But I'm a big guy. I may not look it, but I'm a big
He
guy.
likes to eat.
I love to eat. Why do you think I ordered two large?
He showed up with 2 large pepperoni
Extra
pizzas.
large.
Extra large.
I thought there'd be more people here.
pizzas. It's just the 4 of us, but believe me, the 4 of us can eat 2 large pepperoni pizzas.
Extra large.
Extra large.
We're gonna be.
$2 more for the extra large.
Yes, it was.
It was well worth it.
And I even had a small free cheese pizza for my for my birthday month, which I gotta use.
12% more pizza.
12% more pizza.
What are you guys talking? Did I miss a part of this conversation?
Geno's, they have an extra large deal for $2 more.
Yes, and you weren't even there, but they told me about it.
This is so strange.
It is. We both like Papa Gino's pizza.
I had it the other day, buffalo chicken. It was delicious.
Yo, you should hear my pizza song. A pizza, pizza, pizza. A pizza, pizza, pizza. A pizza, pizza, pizza. A pizza, pizza, pizza. Pizza, 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 pizza. Pizza. Papa Gino's Pizza. Yay!
I don't know if that was much of a song or just you saying pizza a bunch of times and then spelling it out.
Sure, rhythmatic.
The Grammys just called, Steve. You're nominated.
Oh, good. For what? Best new recording artist?
Now, I don't know if you remember, but the Olsen twins had a song about pizza back in the day. They want pizza. It's Pizza. Give me pizza. Hey, did I happen to
Which
say?
one was the prime? Which one was the prime Olsen that was in the Full House show? Which one did he use more than the other?
Nah, I don't know, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. You opened the door. I kicked the screen in.
The one that didn't kill Heath Ledger.
One of them killed Heath Ledger? What?
Wait, let down.
Heath Ledger was with one of the Olsen twins when he died.
Where are you getting this information from, Dick Lane?
The
I swear
internet.
to God. I swear. Look at
No, he's true. Well, she didn't kill him.
Bad drugs, and they died.
Oh.
He died. She lived.
As I say, they didn't die. I think the Olsen twins still exist.
Yes. So what were we talking about?
We got on a weird turn. Went from pizza to dead Olsen twins. I'm not sure how that happened, but
Well, think.
let's go.
Is the AC
back
working?
in
Because I'm
time.
about to take my shirt off.
You can pop that shirt off. The AC is working, though.
Okay, hold on. Catch Dick.
Catch Dick, he says. Ladies and gentlemen, he really is popping that shirt off. Which, I mean, it's not that strange, because it's wrestling.
And it's the Mack Mansion. So.
And it's the Mac Mansion. Everybody's.
Steve, look at those abs. You're putting in work.
There's an entire keg right there. Fuck a 6-pack.
It's a 6-pound keg.
Yeah. So, you're working, you're doing stuff on the reg all the time. Steve the Turtle Weiner, where did you get all those cool T-shirt designs from back in the day?
Again, I gotta thank my dad.
Same,
My
yeah.
dad, as you probably know, was in the political world. Now my brother is as well, so I really gotta be careful on what I say because I don't want to mess up his political future.
Which is understandable.
So yes, there will probably be some edits on this, so I apologize. But there can always be the uncut version.
Right.
Take a shot. But my dad has his own company. Still does. I don't know. I believe my stepmom now owns it now, called Financial Innovations. And they do the merchandise for like a lot of unions and stuff in Rhode Island and other places. And they also are the merchandise people for the annual Democratic National Convention. And when a Democrat wins, they also do the merchandise for the inauguration.
Okay.
Little known fact. My dad every other year would supply me shirts, and I had people come up with designs and whatnot. I will say the blue shirt that looked like the Epcot Center one was probably my worst selling one ever. But this also happened around the time I was doing the Entourage gimmick with Tim Donce. And
Entourage, like the TV show Entourage?
No, I was Tim Donce's Entourage.
There was a guy named Turtle on that show, too.
Yes, I found out after the fact.
Okay. So I was gonna say that's how I remember Steve the Turtle Weiner. Like we met a few times, but I always remember that you had these like outrageous T-shirts with like 6 colors on them, ridiculous designs. And to me, I'm like, God damn, that must have cost like the most. I think the most colors we have on a shirt's like 3 because. That's just far too expensive, dog. It's a different time now, Dick Lane. You can just go to a website and have a T-shirt printed. I'm talking about back in the day when us old folks over here, when we were getting T-shirts made and we had to have them screen printed. That stuff was not cheap, multicolors.
It didn't cost me a dime. I did have to get my family.
Just rubbing it in.
Well, I had to be honest. I'm sorry.
No, I appreciate the honesty.
It's probably going to be different now, but maybe my brother will help me out. But my dad was just... I don't think I would have made a dime in this business without my dad.
Now,
my dad was just... He was my dad. He was everything to me. I mean, like, he literally made sure that I could enjoy living.
Now, do you feel like it's something that's going to drive you forward to be more to be more successful now, or
there was a time when my dad passed where I actually considered getting out of this business for at least for a year. But I'm glad Dick's here because I can say this. This man is one of the reasons I'm still doing this because we're a team, and I don't want to killed the team before we even got started. And also there's Delilah and Curry Boy. And that's also another reason I opened the floodgates to other members, such as yourself, so I can actually allow more people, and it gives me a distraction.
I appreciate that a lot, Steve, and I have to say that since that happened, since your father passed, I've noticed a change in your motivation and that you've been putting a lot of more work into wrestling and into the Facebook promotion and stuff like that. So I got to say, I'm really proud of you as a friend, man.
Thank you, buddy. I'm glad to have you as a friend. I hope we team up for years to come. And it's even out. And one thing I want to do next year, somehow, some way, I'm going to take this tag team outside NCW.
If you want this tag team to last, I got some tag team advice, being a tag team veteran myself.
Well, now that you're members, so we can always use it.
Well, that opposes my advice. I was going to say, you got to stop adding members to this Turtle in Time team because it doesn't seem like it's making Dick Lane too happy.
I like adding people because I figured eventually, just like the idea, like we're going to out NWO the NWO, but in a good way because we're all like in our own individual territories.
So this is, again, advice from the guy who has 1,000 trainees and slaps any two together and calls it Mack Attack like I didn't come up with that name or something.
Yep.
Well, I'll see, but I'm not open. I'm not like adding a new member every week.
Right? No. He's just giving you hot.
I know, but I want to add like a lot of members, but he's always going to be my prime focus, along with Delilah, Princess Pantyhose, and Curry Boy,
and all them other members of the team.
all the other members. I mean, even though it's an open membership, it's not like I'm just gonna drop Dick like a hooker or something like that.
Yeah, and you can't drop Dick like a hooker.
No, I'm not Willie D. Although I do like my blaxploitation films. Another thing I want to see next year.
Are you a big fan of the old Rudy Ray Moore films?
Who?
Rudy Ray Moore, the Human Tornado.
I clearly do not know who that is.
Oh,
so
you don't know?
I will.
Dolomite. Yes, not Dynamite. You just did the Dynamite. You just did that Dolomite instead. Sorry.
Oh.
That's what you did.
I probably.
Yeah, you combine the two together.
Dolomite.
There it is.
Dolomite. Boom. Dynamite.
There it is.
Dolomite. Boom. 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 Boom.
Steve did warn us that he's probably going to sing a lot on the podcast.
Dolomite. I'm sorry, I got into techno for a second.
It's okay. We got to.
I always thought Dick Lane would be a great techno dancer. Like
a strange compliment, but a compliment nonetheless.
Well, I didn't say a strip dancer. I said a techno dancer,
which is an even better compliment.
Yes. Although you do have the suit to be stripper in.
Steve, my question to you is, how'd you get the hookup for the Colt Cabana podcast?
I knew Colt Cabana from my Ring of Honor days, and I think he just saw a good soul in me, and he invited me on. Also, he was doing the Dick Densmore, podcast at the time to be a good segue in. I haven't been a sole member on Colt's podcast yet. I always get nervous. This has actually been a much better podcast just because I finally allowed myself to be so open.
To relax a little bit.
I couldn't be, Colt was like this superstar because he's CM Punk's best friend.
Yeah, right.
And Punk, oddly enough, will probably always remember me as the guy who sat in the Winnie the Pooh costume at a Ring of Honor show. True story, because Special K was going on at the time, and they were the drug kids, and I figured because one of them came out with a Kermit the Frog doll once, one of them would actually dress up in a Winnie the Pooh costume, and the New England tour person for Ring of Honor at the time convinced me to wear the thing in the seats.
And you sat in the crowd?
The entire time in a Winnie the Pooh costume.
In a Winnie the Pooh costume. I feel like I've seen a photo of you in a full-on Pooh costume.
Weekend of Thunder Part 2.
Is that when Jushin Liger came in?
Yep. That was him and Samoa Joe versus Danielson and Loki.
Is that 2004?
Yep, lucky number 2004.
I'm good with the ROH.
And I was there the night before when Danielson and Liger faced each other.
Yeah, I've seen that. I have that on VHS tape somewhere. I don't know.
You got to check out.
It might be here. I was going to say
you got to
here,
check out both.
Here.
For people that are fans of Ring of Honor, that was the event of the weekend. Besides Joe dropping the belt to Aries that December.
Yeah. See, when Aries was on his way up is when I had started not going as many ROH shows.
And am I the only one thinking that we're going to see a Bobby Roode Austin Aries reunion in NXT eventually?
That would be great. I mean,
they're both wearing suits.
They are both in suits, which is pretty sweet. Do you dig the Glorious song? Are you a fan?
Yes, I do.
That shit's got
glorious.
It's got like 4 million.
No,
views
I won't give
YouTube.
in. I won't give in till I'm victorious.
Now,
I will defend. I will defend. Oh, so glorious.
And my favorite's the Nakamura theme. I'm a big fan of the the Nakamura theme. But what I like to do is go to my friends' houses and with my smartphone attach my phone to their YouTube app and then randomly just play the Nakamura theme song while they're in the middle of like playing video games or watching something. So I Nakamura them. Yeah,
You Nakamura bomb them.
yeah, I give them the Nakamura
Well, let's
bomb.
make sure we say Shinsuke Nakamura because we know he gets called up. They're going to shorten his name, which is like, no, he's Shinsuke Nakamura, not Nakamura. He's Shinsuke.
They're like the little kids can't say Shinsuke. What the hell?
That's why they took out Adrian Neville's name and just made it Neville. And now
Yeah,
it's
it's Cesaro. They're just like nobody needs two names.
Well, apparently they dropped Antonio because they thought Antonio was a weak name. Antonio Inoki, Antonio the Great.
yeah, and Antonio
Suzuki?
Levesque?
No, that doesn't count. That's not a real person.
Antonio Suzuki.
I don't think that's a real person.
You're just slapping names together now that sound good.
They do. Antonio Suzuki would make a good Japanese name for someone.
Yeah. Okay, so what year are we at, Steve? Where are we?
I think since we're going to... I'm pretty sure we're now at 2011? Or what year was... tell me, what year was WrestleMania 29 at?
I don't know what year WrestleMania it is this year. I don't.
It was 32, 4 years ago. Oh, good Lord.
Just make up a year, Steve.
You know what? Let's go to
We
2000.
have no fact checker.
Let's
on
go to
this
2010,
podcast.
2011, because this is when Slam Tech closed its doors. Because
Okay.
Bob Evans went full-time Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
And I respected his decision, but I just couldn't find a new school that I felt comfortable in. I couldn't work for Top Rope because they never were interested in me, so I didn't want to go to that school. Nothing against Top Rope, because
Right.
Top Rope is a great promotion.
For sure.
They have their own niche, and I think Steve Ricardo is one of the best promoters in New England.
He is one hell of a businessman.
He's one hell of a businessman, so I recommend anyone that's in the Fall River area. And since I'm going to do the school plug now,
And the man can
Here
put
are-
down some beers.
here are 4 schools you should definitely check out. The Top Rope Wrestling Academy, JT Dunn School at the ROH Chop Shop, of course, the
The RWA Chop Shop.
RWA Chop
The
Shop.
ROH Chop Shop.
Someday.
Yeah, one day.
XWA, which speaking of Ring of Honor, the XWA
Was-
Training Center in Warwick, which features TNA star Mike Bennett, and of course Ring of Honor star Matt Taven as trainers.
Who just came? I think
he's just returning.
just
soon.
returned to Mexico
CMLL.
today, tomorrow. I don't know. He's
So best of luck,
sometime
Matt.
soon.
I haven't been really close with Matt, but I always do consider Matt a good guy. I think he had some of his great work and beyond, and I hope he's nothing for the best for both of them. And Mike Bennett, I think that Mike is definitely on my top 10 list, not of men that I want to have be into
Relations.
but like men I want to wrestle, which I'll get into in a little bit because there's going to probably be a questionnaire of what I still want to do, what my greatest stuff
course.
is at the end. But Mike Bennett is definitely one of the people that I've always inspired to wrestle against because he's basically my polar opposite. Because when you look at him,
Yeah,
and you
big,
look at me,
big, jacked up, handsome dude
who got the girl,
who got the girl and who's out there like grappling the shit out of you.
and you got me, the single beer belly but kind-hearted soul. That's
Are you
still-
saying that he's not kind-hearted?
Oh, he's one of the kindest people I ever know.
All right. I was gonna say that's a.
I would trust
an
Mike.
unpopular
I
opinion.
would trust Mike Bennett with my nephews with my life.
Yeah.
And that's saying something because if like there's a family emergency and my sister left my nephews in charge of me and the wrestlers were there, but we all had to go take care of a family emergency, but
Yeah.
I couldn't take my nephews with me, Mike and Maria would be 2 people I would trust if they were the only.
Yeah. This is a.
It's doubtful to happen since since those 4, my sister, my brother-in-law, and my nephews live out in L.A.
Right.
And by the way, since we're talking about family, this is a warning to every single crazy guy in New York. My younger sister lives in that state. I'm not going to say where. She's with someone. But God help you if anyone ever hurts my younger sister and I find out who you are, I'm a wrestler. I'm being
coming
dead
for
serious.
you.
I'm a wrestler. And I know a lot of jacked up people that would literally go to jail with me.
It's true that
To find
and you have a lot of friends that would do that,
Yeah.
that would have your back in that scenario.
regardless of what the consequences would be.
Probably shouldn't have beat up strangers though.
No, definitely not. And I'm probably sure I would get the book thrown at me, but I would do it to avenge my sister.
Everybody in New York.
I love
When we need to beat up Dick, we'll get.
I love my sister to death. She's one of my favorite people. Zoe, I love you so much, and you're definitely one of the people I consider my next happy place after your mom. So, thank you for always supporting me as well, and you too, Richard, and Bobby. I don't want to forget you, and Melinda, my mom, my main mom. This is why I'm so glad this is just an open forum. Back to 2011, basically, school closed. I had nowhere else to go.
No, we didn't talk. What year was it that you got all those kids the Shikara hookup? I say all those
That was
kids
around
like
the
they're
same
not all my
time.
friends that are like
I would
my
have
age.
to say between 2010 and 2012. Just go back to when the Chikara shutdown thing happened in 2013. If you want to talk about it, we'll talk about it. But I don't know how much information I can give you.
How it closed and stuff. No, we don't really have to get too much into
No,
that.
but,
You know what I
I'm
mean?
sure it's going to be brought up because every Chikara person probably gets asked about it. But I'm not going to divulge anything because I don't know anything about it.
Right.
As far as I know, Condor Security during the main event just decided to stop the show, and Jakar was gone.
Steve, don't you read the dirt sheets? I read on highspots.com. I mean, not highspots.
Highspots.com.
411mania.com said that.
Don't say it.
Listen, Dick Lane, we don't need to hear about what your or the internet's theories about what happened is, all right? With Steve Weiner doesn't, we don't have to talk about it, all right? So we're just going to skip past it.
And I don't know.
And he doesn't know.
The triple truth is I don't know. I've talked to people, but no one knows. As far as we know, the higher power is just
Yeah, I mean,
it was just gone. It was one of the darkest weeks of my life because Chikara was. People don't understand just how much of my body and soul I put into Chikara.
Right.
How much I pro bonoed my life towards that place without any guarantees, and then the first chance I get to do something, it's gone.
yeah.
I thought it was just fine. I have so much unfinished business in Jakarta, and I love that place so much that one of my goals is I want to bring Turtles in Time to Jakarta. I want to see DBS at the King of Trios. I want to see Death by Shelbo at King of Trios 2017.
Yeah.
I somehow want to convince Shell to freeze over and convince Chris Hero to come home.
Now, Death by Shelbo, for the people that don't know, is a name that you gave. Who came up with the name
I think it was a combination of me, JT, and Chris Hero.
all together? Now, it's you, Hero, and JT Dunn, and their tag name is Death by Elbow.
One of
They-
the
they-
best tag teams in the world besides the Hit Squad and you guys, and of course
We're not
us.
that good. It's okay.
The Bushwhackers.
And the
Bushwhackers.
Bushwhackers. But basically, and by the way, they're making their Germany debut at the end of the month. So anyone in the Germany area that listens to this, please
We
go
got like 1% from France. So if you're in France or anywhere in Europe, yeah, let your German friends know that Death by Elbow will be in Germany.
WXW. They're going to be in the tag tournament.
WXW, okay. I know the guy who does
Yes, it is.
I know the guy who does the graphics work for them. You do too. Yes, SG. But so how did the New England Showcase match that Buddy talked about with the him not getting his stuff in and the
I gotta be
Minutemen
honest, I
being
did not listen to that.
selfish and-
I didn't listen to that part, and I didn't have a chance yesterday.
You know, it's okay.
But I only started listening to that at the tail end of my job, and I only got to like 2/3 of it. But basically,
It's a long podcast. I don't blame you.
and this is probably gonna be longer. I think I'm pretty sure by the time this is all edited and whatnot, this is gonna
Take a shot.
take a shot. But basically, a year ago, we had an event in Connecticut where we ran Wrestle Jam,
Yeah.
and ticket sales weren't good, and I was worried Jakar wasn't going to come back to New England. It took a while for them to come back. And for the record, I had nothing to do with renting that building to my brothers at NCW, which we got to talk about NCW eventually.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, we've talked a little, but I would definitely want to.
Yeah, that's basically been my own promotion besides Beyond. Beyond we got to talk about as well. Basically,
Never heard of him.
I know. Remember, peoples, the opinions on the
Yeah,
Mackcast.
according to Buddy Romano, Beyond Wrestling sucks. So
Yeah, we'll get to each his own, I guess. We'll talk about that in a second. And I love you, buddy, but to each his own. But basically, I talked to Quack. I came up with this idea of getting a bunch of guys together and having them sell tickets like I did to win my match.
right in your debut match.
The thing is, I really didn't. The only reason it was a 10-man because I figured the more people we can get on, the more eyes on them.
Then the more that they would be able to sell.
Yeah. Now, here's the funny thing. NCW was there the month before.
Same building.
Same building. And I was in one of my favorite matches ever. I was in a 10-man elimination match where it was me. Who was Christian Rave's partner? Or Christian Frost's partner back in the day?
Oh man, you're killing me, dude.
Sorry, it's an important thing. Me, Doug Summers, Scott Levesque, and two other people. Let's just keep... Not
Okay,
Scott
yeah.
Levesque. Sweet Scott Ashworth, me, Doug Summers, and two other people against Buddy's team. We eliminated everyone but Buddy. Buddy came back to come. It came down to me, Doug, and Buddy, and this was the start of me and Doug's tag team. There was a lot of chairs back then, but when we came to the Jakara show, they didn't have any chairs whatsoever.
Yeah,
we had
Where did all the chairs go?
It looked like Sesame Street looked like Sesame Street chairs invaded the building in Brockton that day.
Okay.
And we also didn't have a curtain. It was just like, it was a disaster. It was a great show, but the setup, it was a disaster.
The NCW show was a disaster, you said?
No, NCW rocked.
The
Jakara setup.
show.
It was just, let's say, the setup. The show itself was good, but the setup. And the Jakara, the reason it was a 10-man because I just figured it would be more eyes, and I got to, like I do with Turtles of Time, I got to cherry pick
I
who I
believe
wanted
they
in the
got
match.
a positive response after the match. Wasn't there a thank you, New England? Yeah.
I thought it was a good match. I should probably have let Drew commentate in the match because I clearly was so shell-shocked seeing all my people in there. People who listen to the match could tell that it was not one of my best commentary experiences, and I'm usually hit or miss on commentary, despite what people think.
Yeah.
I will admit that I probably screwed up my last Beyond match I commentated, which is why I'm just at a ring bell duty now, which we'll get into in a little bit. And basically, that's how it came to be. Basically, the 10-man happened because I wanted to make sure that we had a good attendance so Jakara would keep coming back to New England at least once a year.
And as I say, that was the one shot, right?
JT did get to compete in the Young Lions Cup.
Right. I think Devin Blaze at the Young Lions Cup too, but I think that was
He was in it when it came
when
back
it
to
was
the
wrestling is art or wrestling is fun.
It was Wrestling is Fun, which I will never understand how Wrestling is Fun, the last surviving Wrestling is of the Wrestling is just went away after the Young Lions Cup was crowned. I mean, like, after all the
Look ahead, keep going, man.
I mean, after all the invasions of all these groups from Jakara past shut down all the Wrestling is Fun was the last one.
Yeah.
And it stood side by side with Jakara when we made our second coming. And you got to understand, when I wasn't originally involved when Jakara came back, I got back in with Jakara when the Infinity Gauntlet happened. I actually contacted the current director of Fun, Mike Quackenbush, who's a fantastic director of Fun. Lucky number 4.
Lucky number 4.
I hope he holds that position for a long, long time because Mike is one of the smartest people I know, and I'll always be indebted to him for all the positive things he said about me, including on his shoot interview on Volume 2. Like,
I like that the video he put out explaining pro wrestling to people.
Absolutely,
That
people
thing
who
was
people who
pretty
haven't
cool.
seen that, and I hope we can add a link to that video. So we
Yeah, I can.
please
I can
when
throw
we
that in there.
please because for anyone who hasn't seen this, if you don't understand, if you're the first time viewer and you're just getting into pro wrestling, and you don't know what it is. Feel free to listen to that. This is probably the most open Mike has ever been about.
Yeah, just a very eloquent, heartfelt explanation of what pro wrestling is.
And
to him.
he nails it
Yeah,
on the spot.
sure.
I have to apologize to Buddy, and I understand that his view might be right in certain areas, but pro wrestling has evolved. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I think simple stuff helps.
I was gonna say, you're a guy who doesn't do a lot of things.
Yeah, and I don't get me wrong.
Saying
I agree
that.
with him on some things. Like if you get hit with something and it's deaf, you should probably call an audible and go home.
Right.
But then again, in this day and age, people want to see this stuff.
Right.
I mean, I hate it. It's become like a crash test dummy thing, but it's what sells right now. Maybe it'll go back down eventually. It depends. It's all wrestling. Wrestling is wrestling.
You can have a spot fest, or you can go out there and just tell a story and be a character, and it's all wrestling. It's all good in its own way.
Exactly.
Now, Shikara closes, and you said you wanted to talk about NCW being in your home. Now, after Shikara closed, Bob's not running EPW anymore.
Well, NCW, how I got involved with them, and I
Yeah.
should have brought the poster to help me remind myself. I technically started in 2005,
Okay.
but I wasn't officially part of them until between 2007 or 2009.
Okay.
And I actually became a full-time member thanks to Buddy and Doug. I actually remember the show. It was our one shot in Smithfield at that old skating rink or whatever before
Yep.
it got shut down, like on the way to North Smithfield, like in between Worcester and whatever.
Yep.
Next to that, what do you call those outdoor drive-through theaters?
Yeah, the drive-in.
I did double duty that night. Me and Buddy were in a losing tag team match, and it was also MTE's last night. It was also the night that Mike Pava won the belt of beginning his almost 3-year reign as New England champion. He was a great champion, but as long as it lasted,
Something that you disagreed with?
I will say that there's a lot of things I disagreed and agreed with, which I'll get into because I love my NCW brothers, and JC Marks told me to just have fun and just be open. So hopefully this will not get me in trouble. I wish I could be.
JC's probably going to come on this podcast and say a whole bunch of way worse shit than what you've said.
I know, and I wish I could be more open about Chikara and Ring of Honor, but because I'm still an active professional wrestler,
Totally understand.
I would rather not comment on stuff that I either do or do not know about, and I respect Quackenbush and the people at Ring of Honor very much to do that. But I can't wait to tell some stories about it that I can talk about, like the window story and whatnot, because there are some road stories that I'd rather get off my chest, but I'll do that at the tail end before my questionnaire of the do's and don'ts I still want to do.
Hell yeah, that's what the Mackcast is all about. And if you hear someone talking trash about you, not specifically you, Dick Lane, because I'm pointing at you, but if a listener, if you hear him talking trash, and come on the Mackcast. It's an open forum here. JC Mox, we're giving him the rebuttal.
But,
you know?
and just I cannot wait to find out who you're going to have for episode 50.
I don't.
6 episodes from now.
There really isn't a plan yet, but
you should start
the
making a plan.
world-
You're about to get down to the
hopefully
countdown.
everything works out, and
I want to see the Hit
becomes-
Squad on this. And I can't wait to talk about the Hit Squad in a minute, because the Hit Squad were another inspiration for me.
we can talk about the Hit Squad right now.
Well, I want to finish my NCW.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
NCW, basically, I defeated MTE, and I began there. I actually credit NCW for the place I created Kingdom Hearts at.
Okay.
I wrestled a guy named Don Freitas, who claimed to be related to Dan Freitas, and I came up with it for
Dan and Don. His name was Don Freitas.
Don Freitas.
Okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
That's where
Was
I
it
came
just Dan in a wig?
No,
like,
believe it or
and
not,
glasses?
it was actually John Thornhill in a mask.
Okay.
Yes, you are. I look forward to hearing about that in a little bit. Basically, I saw it in a video game. Goldberg did this thing where he caught someone's leg, just grabbed the guy in the heart by the chest, lifted him up, and chokeslammed it down. I figured that would be cool. So I did it, and I just yelled out Kingdom Hearts because I realized I was grabbing the guy where his heart would be, and I just realized what goes with heart. And one of my favorite video games of all the time was the original Kingdom Hearts. So I just yelled out Kingdom Hearts, and it connected. The crowd popped like crazy. It was the loudest reaction I ever remember in Riverside. It was also the beginning of my feud with Mike Pava.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much I really wanted that strap.
And that's part of the reason why you felt like his run was too long.
It was a long run. I understand why they wanted to do it. NCW does a lot of things differently, and they are their own entity.
Yeah.
And I respect that. And they created their own universe, and they are happy where they are. And I like to see them expand and do other stuff, but it is what it is. I mean, I can't go back and change.
While we're on NCW.
JC Marks, I know you're listening out there in podcast lands, and you need to book the Turtles in Time against the Mack Attack, brother, because that's what the people want to see, and that's what the people listening to this podcast want to see.
I'm down with that.
I was going to say, I don't know if it's what the people want to see, but the people that listen to this podcast probably want to see it. That makes sense. Because they would be fans. I'm sorry. But yeah, JC Marks, make it happen sometime, I guess.
Please. Also, I would love to get another shot at the tag straps. I love to face the heavy hitters.
Formidable opponents, the heavy hitters.
And I love to see this guy and myself and Curry Boy take on Scott Levesque and two of his proteges
Yes,
at a later
yes,
date
Scott
because of what
Levesque.
happened at the Big City Rumble. Scott Levesque, actually, with the exception of Delilah Hayden, eliminated all three of us.
All right, I just got to say, JC Mox, if this match is going down, if it's going to be booked, just make sure our opponents do not have work in the morning, all right? Because we're going to be putting the beat down. That's you guys, right?
Don't have work in the morning, because the last time we did NCW, we put the stank on some people, and they had work in the morning. They were not happy about it.
I like the stank down that night, that's for sure.
For sure laid the stank down.
Get down, stink down.
Now, when you
stink
say
down.
Scott Levesque and his two proteges, little known story,
Cool people.
Scott Levesque lied to Chris Blackheart and said that he trained us to get us our first match in Showcase Pro Wrestling. So, we might be those proteges, all I'm saying.
Never know.
Yes, whatever you just said, I was watching this fine Steve the Eternal Water match that.
This has not been a Steve the Turtle Weiner match has stopped about 45 minutes ago.
I have no
And
idea
it's,
what kind of
it's
shit we're
just
watching.
become some promotion that I don't know, but I know a lot of people on there. Lucas Sharp's in there right now, and
I will be honest, there's not that many matches of me available online.
on the interwebs. You should have brought some sort of DVD, Steve.
There's not a
Damn
best
it.
stuff out here. This is like
I'm talking
basically-
about a DVD you made.
He already explained, Trainee, that he had a whole package he was going to bring, but he wanted to keep the shoot legit, so he didn't bring it. It's already been explained.
My bad, dude. I must have been in the other room drinking my drink.
Yeah, it's a big Mac mansion, so I popped out during this whole interview a few times now.
I forgot you were even here at one point.
Sorry, but you were saying Training One and Mac, Monster Mac?
Not even included. Oh, NCW. You're running NCW. You want tag straps now, but back in the day you had a feud with Mike Pava.
And then I eventually got one. And then I was inserted in a tag team with Doug Summers, which
Dig it, Doug.
yeah, we actually ran for a run for the tag belts, and we were in a babyface run with Rui and Lumberjake.
Lumberjake's the man.
We ended up having a thing where we almost won the belts, and we walked out with the straps themselves. We weren't the tag champs, but we held them for like a few shows.
Got you like you held them hostage. These are ours now.
Yeah, and we ended up being in the Big City Rumble. We're back when we got to do the back scene. This is online, by the way. We did the drawing, and I didn't learn this till later. Doug switched our numbers, and he drew my lucky number 4.
You drew the 4,
And well, I drew it, but he took it.
but he took it. Yeah.
And I got a higher number, and I ended up winning the Big City Rumble.
Well then,
But except I decided because the next show was on my birthday to cash in my title shot, then instead of the
next show.
yeah, which my stepmom and my aunt were there, but it wasn't exactly a big crowd.
How did that turn out for you? Cashing it in.
NCW was very supportive on my birthday. I was outside when they tried to like dedicate like my birthday thing to me. I might as well say it now. I did not agree with the decision with Buddy winning. I understood why. I have nothing against him. I love Buddy to death, and I understand wrestling's fake. I mean, like, you know what? I hate.
What did you just say?
Hold up.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just joking, dude. Go ahead.
He meant predetermined.
We can edit that out. I'm
Steve,
sorry.
I am a real supervillain with real superpowers, Steve.
That you can edit out that line.
No, it's cool, man. Don't even worry about it, Steve. Take a shot, by the way. Take a shot.
As I was saying, yes, wrestling. Everyone knows that, and no one when it's predetermined. But it was on my birthday, and I don't know why. But because we had a show in 2 weeks, I just will never understand why it didn't make sense for me to take the
win
belt and then
And
drop
then
it
lose
back.
it in 2 weeks later.
I'm sorry. I will never understand why that was a problem.
Now, whose decision was that?
I believe it was JC and whoever else helps him book. JC, I don't think is the only booker there. Although
Right,
I treat him as the only person in charge because that's how.
Because he's the guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Just think NCW,
I do
you
believe
think JC.
now Pava and Lumberjake are also helping out.
Turns out I met JC a bunch of times when I was a kid. When I'd go to the RF video kiosk in the Emerald Square Mall, and he was working there, and I was just some little punk kid harassing him, like, let's watch these VHS tapes. Because that's what they were at the time, VHS tapes.
But I will say this: I love JC and I love Pava and I love Lumberjake, and I wouldn't be who I am without their support because that has been my home for a long time, and it's currently the only place I still actively wrestle at. I mean, like I'm pretty sure I at least wrestle once a month from February to November because of them.
Because of them, yeah.
At least I would like to try to get more in, especially now that I don't have any parents that are ill or like going to try to control my life. I would like to try to. While my body still has the ability to try to get a few more matches. I learned that the most matches I ever had was almost 30 in 1 year.
Yeah.
I'd like to try to get 50. It would be nice to try to
Like
get...
once a weekend.
Not 50 matches at once a weekend. That's not possible.
No, I mean once a weekend for the whole year. Like 50
would be-
matches like once a weekend.
It would
for a
be
year.
nice. I would be open to it depending on where it is, who's against, the payday. and
Right, all that
whatnot.
good stuff.
But I won't just do it for free anymore. I mean, I would do Jakar for free. My time back at the Infinity Gauntlet, I was the one who contacted. I needed it because how Jakar closed down.
Yeah, you wanted some closure.
Closure, and I want to be back. I have a lot of unfinished business there. I want to be in the Cybernetico because that's the match that made me a fan of Jakara.
Yeah.
I want to be in trios, even if I never win it. Even though I would love to, I would love the challenge for the Grand Championship one
Death
time.
by Shelbo.
Yeah,
Let's make it happen. The trios. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I don't care if it's. I would love it to be them, but I understand if it's not.
It's not right.
I mean, I understand that. I can't really get into it, but I understand if it can't be Hero. And I love you, Chris. So if you're offended of me even suggesting this, believe me, it's a personal dream. It's not me going into business for myself. I just would love to see it. I know if that's up to powers that be and forces otherwise. It's just I really want to see you, me, and Dunn in trios
Doing the
it's
deal.
you going
Seeing
to
how the
with the
different
exception of you,
styles compare, like come.
especially
compare
since it's been 10 years since Chris has been in Jakara.
Right.
I mean, like, and I want to.
You should have the stroke to be able to do whatever he wants.
I know, and he does. I mean, like, my point though is that with the exception of him challenging for the Grand Championship, the one thing he never got to do was compete in trios.
Trio stuff, yeah.
And since we're coming up on 10 years since he's last appeared in Jakara, if there's ever a time for him to return, even for just one weekend, it seems like next year's trios.
Sounds
And that's
like the
just
perfect
my
weekend to
opinion.
me. Now, let's get into the hit squad, because you brought it up before we started the podcast, you dropped the name a couple times while we were doing it.
I
Now, if
first-
people don't know, the Hit Squad is Steve, Monster, Mack, and Danny Moff. Dan Mafia Moff.
Or Danny Mafia.
Danny Moff, whatever it may
Dan
be.
short.
Now, you said they were a big inspiration to you.
Yes. As far as the independents go, I finally got to see Ring of Honor for the first
Right,
time.
and
So I bought some DVDs.
They were part of ROH those first couple of years.
Yes, and then even though they don't like to talk about it anymore because of just I don't understand. So
Whatever the deal is that
and
happened.
It's up to them if they want to if they come on here, which I hope they do.
I don't know, man.
It's up to them.
The Steve Mafia Mack once. It was I'm trying to think. Well, it even goes further back than that. I don't know if you remember. You might remember this, but I remember seeing on like a message board back in the day somebody from New England posting and saying, "Hey, Monster Mac, some half-trained shitbag out in New England is using your name." Do you remember that?
I was that half-trained shitbag. Of course I remember that.
Okay, no, I'm just asking if you remember somebody saying that. And when that happened, I remember Monster Mac saying, "Hey, I'm a fully trained shitbag," which I thought was probably the best response ever. But recently, maybe a year ago, maybe it might be more. I have a terrible perception of time. Steve Mack reached out on Twitter and said something to the nature of, there's guys out there called the Latin Hit Squad, and there's some guy in New England calling himself Monster Mac. You're welcome, guys, or something. And I responded, he said, "Good luck." That's what it was. "Good luck, guys." And I responded, "Hey, man, thanks for the good luck. I hope Sir Mix-a-Lot's not pissed we stole his name." Because that's where he got his name from.
I actually had that CD, the Beavis and Butthead Experience, with that song.
Yeah, with that song on
That's
it.
exactly where I got it from. It was from that CD, the Beavis and Butthead. Experience.
Yes, but anyhow, whatever your issues with Monster Mac.
No issues at all.
issues.
Just explaining,
No, but whatever your
just
history.
explaining the
your history-
situation.
Your history or situation with
Yeah.
him, I'm sure because I've met him now, he would be if he is interested. I'm sure it would be a very pleasant conversation.
Oh, for sure. I shook his hand at the.
You guys technically are
at
now
a Beyond show. I was like,
you
"Hey, man,
technically
how's it
are now
going?"
stable mates with him.
Yeah.
He's in the stable?
He's in the stable too.
There's no, like, only one Monster Mac allowed in each stable?
Why do you think I'm
Monster
inviting you
Max
guys? To
allowed.
prove that we are a different unit. I mean, it's like each.
2 whole Monster Max. How unbelievable is that? And, also, fun fact: Devin Blaze, only person to pin both Monster Max ever.
Oh, that's
Like, he
right.
pins, maybe
But-
Matt Storm too.
Yeah,
One
but
of the
back to-
Storms.
Back to my story, and the first Ring of Honor show, they beat up the Christopher Street Connection.
Yes.
They made this awesome promo, and it just fascinated me because they talked about you gotta kiss sports entertainment sauce goodbye, and whatnot. It's just like
I like the.
I can't
high-pitched
remember it
voice.
word for word because I can't do Mafia or Monster Mac Hit Squad version.
No, you can
impression.
call him Monster Mac. It's cool. Steve, yeah, Steve Mac.
I have to ask though. You know, me and you and Delilah Hayden and Curry Boy. You know, we kind of have a theme of that with this mixed group, this mixed bag of weird people.
Right.
You
and
don't
we-
think the Hit Squad
I
are
feel like,
weird?
I feel like we kind of.
But then you have this addition of these, these guys that are known for being hard-hitting, tough guys.
We need those.
They don't mix with the flavor.
Dick Lane feels like he's gonna get bullied.
Yeah,
I
but
think
Dick,
that's what's happening.
They
here.
told me it was the highest honor of their lives to be partners with us.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I was going to say, did you inform the Hit Squad that they were in the group?
Yes, they.
alright.
I ask people permission first before
Oh,
they.
I see, I
I
see.
ask them if they don't want in. They're not in.
Well, I'm in, Steve.
Yeah, me too.
And
We're
I
all
can't wait.
in.
I can't wait to start promoting the MacCast on the page. And since you guys will have editor status on the page, you can as well.
Awesome. So the Hit Squad, you seen them? They weren't sports entertainment. They wanted to bash you. They were rough and tough, and that you don't wrestle like that.
No,
but
but
it still drew your attention.
I was always entertained by them, and I was so excited when I found out they were going to be competing at the tournament for Tomorrow Free for Beyond, and I was
Yeah.
so upset because of family reasons because it was on Thanksgiving weekend. I couldn't be at that event, so you
Right.
can't imagine how excited I was when I found out they were coming back for a second time to wrestle EYFBO, who's another tremendous team, by the way, along with a shout-out to the rest of Pazuzu, Pinky Sanchez, who I have a great history with, Jaka, and Chris Dickinson, all three who I've wrestled, by the way, so I got to wrestle
Jesus.
we have to wrestle EYFBO someday. So Angel Ortiz, Mike Drastic, I love you guys, but if you ever want to throw down with the Turtles in Time original, let us know because I would love to mix it up with you.
Steve, I'm pretty sure that those guys would beat us up really bad.
We have to line them with us. They'd be very distracted.
Really bad.
We can survive the kick swivel.
Kick. Swivel.
Thank God. Training one's showing us training's coming through because he understands.
Oh, no, listen, man. I've been watching the EOFBO when they were in 2KW in New York wrestling on like the playgrounds and shit.
That's right, with the rubber mats and stuff.
Yeah. That stuff was insane. Those kids were taking bumps on that rubber playground mats that I wouldn't take in a ring.
Yeah, but back to my Hit Squad score. That match with them at the May show that featured Samoa Joe versus Chris Dickinson, which was the conclusion of the Trilogy, as they would call it. I had the honor of being commentating that match. It was one of the last good commentating jobs I did for Beyond. That match blew my mind. I mean, even after all these years, Monster Mack and Mafia still have it.
I feel like they brought it more now. I feel like they
Absolutely
may have gotten even better.
They're one of the reasons I'm trying to do more.
What's pretty funny to me is like before.
And David Starr, by the way, one half of the original Juicy product.
Juicy product.
He's a tremendous wrestler as well.
Yes.
I mean, he wrestled 104 minutes once. Granted, that record was beaten by Trevor Lee down south, but
Did a Hero do some 3-hour match or
yes,
something?
he did.
But Steve, we wrestled for 38 days.
Yeah, that's
I
a
know,
fucking
but
38 days right there.
Listen, we took breaks. We had to sleep. We
That's
had to use the
off-
bathroom.
That's off the record books though, since the footage was demolished in that plane crash or whatever it was.
How we never got arrested by running from the highway. I gotta thank you for the boost, by the way.
Was it the
went
white Bronco? Was that you in the white Bronco?
actually, mine was green. Well, clearly mine was green. I'm a turtle.
Oh,
now.
I see.
Dick Lane, did you share that photo to the interwebs? Of course. Oh, I didn't. Did you tag us in it? I didn't see it. No. Oh, you son of a gun.
But anyhow,
son of a gun.
there is one thing I want to quickly conclude with my Hit Squad score. I want to give this shout out to Dan Moff because he and Mack were one of the first people at the Beyond show. I didn't do anything on Americana. I was just backstage after my dad passed. They were one of the first people to come up and apologize for my loss, and it meant the world for me that Mafia did it as well because I remember back at Ring of Honor on the day he challenged for the Ring of Honor World title against Samoa Joe, his dad passed away.
Right.
I can't imagine what he must have went through that day.
Just a wave of emotions.
A wave of emotions, and the fact that he was able, as a villain, to go out there and be able to perform and show what he could do. He didn't win, but he never screwed up. It was one of the best matches he had against Samoa Joe. I don't think I could have ever done the same thing, but that's why he's him and I'm me, because people take loss
differently
in different ways. But I have so much respect for him and Monster Mack, especially him for the fact that he was able to do that because that shows how professional he is.
Right.
And that shows how, like Monster Mack is all. They're two, despite what they look like in the ring, they're two of the most professional people I've ever met in my life.
Right.
Thanks, dude. Oh, he wasn't talking about me?
Well, all three of you.
Wrong
all
one,
three
wrong
of you.
one. Sorry, dude.
My bad, my bad.
You are a great host in this
They
political
call me
palace.
Trainee Mafia 1.
So, and David Starr, who I've seen progress tremendously since his time with and without JT Dunn, is going to do amazing things in this business. I cannot wait to see what he does. Well,
Yeah, as I say, JT, David Starr, they both made some Impact Wrestling, not TNA. Dick Lane, Impact Wrestling. What's wrong with you?
well, they still call the championship
I
the
know.
TNA.
I'm just giving Dick a hard
Although
time.
I am grateful they actually changed the name because, let's be honest, they stole that from Albert Tristatus and Test.
Yeah, well, I mean, come on now. But so you talk about David Starr. You talk about the tournament for tomorrow. Let's talk a little bit about Beyond Wrestling.
Yeah, but let me just finish plugging the rest of the tours
go
in
ahead.
time. I can
Plug
plug
away.
you guys in.
No, you don't have to plug us. This is our podcast. Everybody knows who we are.
And I'll be sure to add you can add every episode onto the Turtle page tonight.
And by everybody, I mean nobody.
Oh, there's a lot of people that are liking the Turtles page. Don't forget, I actually boosted the post about this episode by like 1,300 so far.
That's crazy, dude. And when you told me that, I was like, you for sure didn't have to do that. But this is a podcast that we've been trying to get together. Like I say it every goddamn podcast because it takes forever.
This
to get
literally
people
has
on
been
here.
like a year in the
This is
making.
at least a year, at the bare minimum, a year.
That's why I'm taking my time to make sure that we touch upon everything. This might not be the most cohesive, coordinated speaking because
This is
from
not.
me.
See, like I feel like you've even before we did it, you worried about that, about it not being.
and normal.
Yeah, cohesive, I guess, is the right way. But that's just the way our podcast works, man. Like,
And I know that's why I'm so comfortable with it. But
we've done
I wanna plug-
podcasts where like Chris Pyro was so drunk by the end of the podcast that he was like throwing super kicks around the room. He hit me with an errant super kick. He was talking about kicking out of everything in the world.
Claimed to be the wrestling Superman. Nothing hurts him.
Oh God! But let me finish with the plug of the Turtles in Time and the people
yeah.
connected to it, and then I'll get into Beyond Wrestling.
Beyond Wrestling.
Smiley, who trains out of Amazing Red and Brian Excel's school at the House of Glory, is a tremendous talent that I got to meet a few years back at this house, or I guess this TV taping for a sub promotion for the old SWA out of New York, and he's he's done so much and wrestled so many great talent that he's someone to keep an eye on. And despite what my tag team partner thinks when he's not trying to erase minds, I think Mike Grassa has a tremendous
Graka. I think you're pronouncing his last name.
Grassa. Grassa.
Are you sure it's not Graka?
Well, personal opinion aside,
Mike Graka Jr.?
someone to keep your eye on it. I think once he gets his mind focused and starts erasing people's minds, he's someone that's going to do amazing things.
You can listen to the Mike Rassa podcast on the Mackcast, which was, 10 episodes ago.
I look forward to hearing that, but I look forward to the next one when he comes on after Turtles in Time. Because what he's doing...
Are we going to have like 40 people in this house doing a podcast at once?
Can we do
'Cause
that?
I'm in. Yeah, I listen.
I always wanted to do the Matt Cast Battle Royal, where it's a bunch of people in one room and we just pass around the two mics that we have.
What do we eventually just kick people out? Call it a battle royal. You, Eric Dillon, get the hell out of here.
We could try
You're
that.
out of the podcast.
Maybe we can do that for
Hey,
episode 50.
jackass.
Episode 50. It's a good idea. It's like just a mashup. Yeah, I like it.
Or Mack Up.
A Mack-up, yeah.
But as I was saying, let me see, I touched on... Oh, yeah. How could I forget this? Chocolate Source West, Barrington Hughes, was the first person that I personally didn't know who reached out to wanted to join the Turtles in Time. And since I said it's an open membership, I invited Chocolate Source West in. And he's someone based in basically the Miami area of Florida.
Barrington Hughes.
Yes, so please keep your eye on Milf's favorite wrestler, or as I like to say, Mother's favorite wrestler.
Okay.
And then finally, David Cole, the man who trained
Dave
JT
Cole.
Toll.
Dave Cole.
Dave Cole. I was so honored that he wanted to join our group, and I'm so grateful he accepted my invitation because he has been in this... I've known Dave for about over 10 years, as long as I've been in wrestling. He was one of the first people outside of Slam Tech I ever met, along when he was with Jay Buster. I'm so grateful I got reacquainted when he and Buster went for their tryout at Jakara, not Jakara, even though he does compete in Jakara,
Yeah.
Wrestle Jam. He calls Wrestle Jam Beyond an RWA home right now, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful I got reacquainted with him, and he's a tremendous artist. He's also credited as the guy who creates our canvases at Beyond every year, by the way.
Yes, and Dave Cole is also the guy who refuses to draw me a Andy Kaufman painting, which I've told him many times I would gladly pay upwards $100 of $100 for a dope Andy Kaufman painting. He said he would do it, and it's been like 2 years.
We'll see if he can do it now. Now you guys are both able stimulates.
Yeah, Dave Cole.
We're in the same stable. I think our chances are good.
Like, hey, turtle. Hey, fellow turtle in time.
Yes, but like I said, your business is your business, his business is his business.
Right.
That explains the continuity, depending on what several members may do and like same promotions they share.
Yeah, of course.
That's how we were able to all branch out. It's like Sons of Anarchy. We have our own charters.
Now,
Back to Beyond Wrestling.
Beyond. Now, does the Beyond connection go all the way back to USWF?
It does. I met Drew there. Apparently, we got reacquainted at the Young Lions Cup, which actually, believe it or not, Ricky Shane Page,
Yep, RSP.
who was under a mask at the time, was actually Jason's Blade's substitute.
Okay.
Thanks to him, that's how I was able
That's
to.
how you were the number one Rhode Islander ever.
Yeah. I will always be grateful that I can actually say that I'm the first man from a certain state to wrestle for Jakara,
wrestle,
who
yeah.
is like the number 4 promotion in the world in America right now. At least that's my opinion. They're the most known anyway.
For sure, they're
Unless PWG
super popular.
Well, they're definitely in the top 10 because
Yeah.
I don't want to discredit PWG or AAW or AIW or even the Evolve or
Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
Juggalo Championship. There's so many There's like 20
Let
promotions.
me slip that in there real quick.
I will say this right now. There's probably 30 promotions that everyone talks about that are based in America.
Yeah.
But while they're in the beds, there are probably over 100, maybe 200 promotions.
Oh, easily.
And there's probably like 1,000 wrestlers, but like only of them are like weekend warriors. Some
Most
of them are
probably
only
80% of them are weekend
and
warriors.
only like 15 to 10 are probably actual professional wrestlers like JT.
Right.
Like
guys who
probably-
are out making a living.
I have to think of myself as like an odd. What is that word that you think of when like we had that mashup of a DC character and a Marvel character combined into one character? amalgamation of all the above.
Thank you, Dick Lane.
Thank you. This is why you're my tag partner. You help me with the big words.
I can't even say that word. I don't even...
I'm an amalgamation of all of the above of those I just said. I'm a weekend warrior. I'm not a side yarder. I had backyard experience, and
didn't?
I like to think of myself as a pro, but I never played with weapons. I will say that. I never bashed myself with live tubes. I'm grateful that it took me almost a decade to actually suffer my first wrestling injury in NCW, and it was a simple thing. I went to body slam one of my opponents. It was my first match tagging up with Dick, and my leg just popped. It felt like my eardrum popped 6 times, but it was coming from my leg.
Yeah. What was it, your hip or?
No, my knee
Just
just
right from your
popped. And I somehow finished the match because I just feel like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Devin Baker. It was you, Devin Baker.
It was him under a mask.
You injured my partner, Devin Baker, with your body weight.
That's probably what happened. I went to slam him, and I don't blame Devin. It was a freak accident. It just happened. My leg gave out.
Next time I see you, Devin Baker, I'm going to shake your hand.
I will as well.
that hand.
Let me guess. You're wrestling him tomorrow at the House of Brick show.
Where are you? Are you on a show tomorrow, Dick Lane?
House of Bricks, if you want to book Dick Lane,
And see the Turtle Weiner.
then you can contact us on our Facebook.
You guys
page.
could just come with us tomorrow if you want.
We can do that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. Who's going to say no?
I'm booked twice tomorrow.
Oh, book twice tomorrow. Where are you wrestling? Give it a quick
My
plug
boys-
ahead.
All right, I'm going and wrestling for my boys at
Alchemania?
RICW.
Oh, Alchemania or no? Is that tomorrow?
No.
Cut off that plug now.
No. Okay, RACW.
RICW. And
That's
then I'm
tomorrow?
going
What time? In the afternoon?
6 o'clock at the
Oh.
Chop Shop.
Damn.
And then I'm wrestling in Newton for WAW also.
And he's still trying to get booked on that House of Brick show.
Yeah.
Dick Lane trying to get that triple duty tomorrow, kids.
It's a time traveling machine.
would
That's how
take
he can make multiple.
I would take you up on the offer, but I was originally supposed to be on the WAW show, and I had to pull off because I'm wrestling my leg. Because despite being cleared by the doctor in time for my return to
Just not
Jakarta,
feeling right.
my knee just still hasn't felt right since that. I mean, I noticed it even during that match. I haven't been myself. That's one reason I'm trying to give so much to wrestling, because I don't know when my body's just going to give out.
Yeah.
I'm approaching 12 years. I'm definitely going to get to 15. I would like to retire on an even number or complete the full. If I ever retire, it would be the December after the December of an anniversary year.
Gotcha.
That's when I would call it a day, because it seems like the best time. Or if anything else, it would be on the April after, just during the time when everyone can make it to it.
So you reacquainted yourself with Drew at the Young Lions Cup.
And then eventually he moved out to...
Moved back out here, right?
but first he moved out to
Ohio.
But then when he came back, because he had come back constantly, he was doing back and forth, he bumped into me. I forget where, but he invited me to Beyond. For whatever reason, he always wanted me to be at Beyond at some while. And I was one of the first people to tell him that I don't think I could be at that style, but he convinced me I could.
Yeah.
I wrestled during that. I'm so sorry, Drew. I can't remember the name of the taping. I wish you were here to help me out on this. During that, I do know I wrestled Johnny Cockstrong, and what was a great match.
Right.
Only pile driver I ever taken, because that's the only time I was ever called on it.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful I tucked my shell. I had him do it on my shell because my head would have snapped right on the canvas.
Yeah.
That would have paralyzed me. I could feel my head bouncing off the canvas. If my protective shell wasn't there, that would
Would have
not.
been all neck and head.
Yeah. And then I wrestled and defeated Chris Dickinson the next day.
Jesus, that's not something that many people can say.
I beat him by DQ, and it was not the most vicious match Dickinson was ever in, but it was definitely one of the most funnest he was in.
I'm sure it was one of the most vicious matches you've ever been in.
It's online, I think. It's black and white, but it's online somewhere.
Well, why is it black and white?
Drew wanted to try this thing where he tried to do like old school back in the day when like the 1950s.
Okay, they had some weird.
If Drew was
sepia
ever,
and
if
shaky
Drew was ever,
footage.
Drew or Denver, if you're ever on this podcast, and I suggest you do get on here, because at least it'd be a good way to promote Beyond. And these guys do actually like Beyond, despite what they do.
What Buddy Romano said.
Despite what Buddy, and I love Buddy, and I love you, Drew.
About half my friends wrestle for Beyond. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I hope these guys will be at the October 2nd show, Minus Touch, in summer.
He probably won't be, but I might go.
Yes, I'll even bring you in. You can be security or something.
He doesn't ever go to shows. I usually just show up with the Minuteman or.
Well, please come. Please
the
bring your
hood.
mask and just come, because at least we can hang out at the timekeeper station.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
I'll
dude.
be there
hang
for
out.
timekeeping. I love Dick Lane to be there, because at least I can introduce him to people.
This is my tag team partner, Dick Lane.
I'm scared of meeting wrestlers.
But you're a wrestler.
I know, but I just get, shell shocked when I meet them.
Boom.
then just be with me. I can be your safety blanket. Just hold on to me, and I'll like this is my teddy bear, Dick Lane.
All right, so it's strange. I am like the same age as you guys.
Yes, we're
But
all
I've
33.
only been wrestling for like a year and a half.
Right.
So
That's why I'm so
when
impressed
I
by you.
meet-
You were this close to winning the Big C Rumble, and we were this close to winning the tag version of Ring of Thrones.
all you guys just like like Chris Hero and stuff, like all these people that you're talking about that you like came up in the wrestling business with are like people that I have like watched on DVD for like years.
Speaking
and
of
stuff,
wrestling
you know
business, I
what
want to give a quick shout out to. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Dick, but I want to before I forget because one person I did wrestle from the WWE. He's now known as Luke Harper, but Brody Lee, my second or third match technically at Jakara.
Yeah.
I could have done better, but I'm so grateful I got to wrestle you,
That you actually got
Luke,
to
and
do it.
I hope you come back from your injury soon. And I'm sorry you missed this year's WrestleMania because I could tell how much I meant to you, like I meant to Neville. And this WrestleMania was just like cursed with injuries, even though it was
I
a
feel
good.
like everybody was hurt.
It was a good wrestle. It was a decent WrestleMania. It wasn't
Right,
the
for the talent they had.
But let's be
available.
honest, we only talk about 3 matches:
Right.
AJ versus Jericho,
Awesome.
the ladder match,
Yep.
definitely the women's match, and the Hell in a Cell.
Now was the you say definitely a women's match. What was the women's match? I don't recall.
Oh, not the 12 women.
Okay.
Even though that was good for what they
For what it was decent.
they
but
the
I know what
crowd
you're saying.
the crowd never booed. At least not like
true.
this match sucks booed.
Right.
But I'm clearly talking about 3 of the 4 horsewomen.
Right.
And it will always bug me that Bayley was not in that match because
Not
at this-
involved.
they're all connected. Even though Charlotte did that promo about like disbanding whatever, I still think someday there'll be a one of those wrestling games on WWE where one of the storylines will be the rise of the 4 horsewomen.
Right. What a
Well, technically, it is my legal first name.
It's true.
Oh yeah, and since I'm talking about Mark, I should probably apologize right now to Interspecies Wrestling. This is probably one story about that show.
I was gonna bring them up. I wasn't sure what relations you had with them, but
I have good- I'm
I
on
figured
good-
you'd fit in perfectly. You are.
I'm on
wrestling
good terms
Turtle.
with them. I am good terms with them now. I actually showed up when they made their first trip to Connecticut. They let me be a part of a 3-way dance. It was one with Hydra
I see.
and Jolly Roger. I got to ride because it was an outdoor show. I rode to the ring in my car, playing my theme song, Lala Eddie Guerrero.
on your stereo.
And you got to understand, because I was so new to this, I was not used to promotions. I only ran every or so month.
Yeah.
And I treated my program that I had online with Giant Tiger very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I was very upset to find out that they were going to have me lose to him because I thought we could have done more with this.
Yeah,
And I have to be honest, I did not have the maturity or the understanding at the time to realize what I was doing. I swear to this, if I realized what I was doing was a wrestling sin, I never would have done it, and I got the finish change. Because apparently I had a match in Connecticut the following week, and I couldn't lose. It's the only time I've ever done that.
Yeah.
I am so sorry that I did that. I
You
even
feel
told
that like that caused some friction.
I haven't. I only recently went back when I became that mask, the Silk Stalker that I did for
The
2 shows.
Silk Stalker.
It was my idea of.
You told me about that because you went to an interspecies show, and then you told me, you're like, I think Steve the Turtle Weiner was there doing a weird Silk Stalker gimmick.
You said you didn't go to any of those shows.
He did. He I haven't been to an interspecies show. He doesn't normally go to shows. I don't know why he was there.
Maybe he wanted to get silky with it.
I heard about interspecies wrestling, so I just had to at least check it out once. I remember seeing a Milkman and a Chili Pepper wrestle, and the Silk Stalker. I don't know.
Oh yes. And then of course my opponent. And then you weren't there for the tag match where one of the wrestlers couldn't understand that there are 2 versions of a curve stomp. And he was thinking I was going to do the Rollins version. I can't get up that high. I was doing Super Dragon. He could not understand that. How hard is it to remember I'm going to grab your arms and throw my foot down on you?
Yeah.
And I'll never understand, with all due respect, Seth Rollins, I will never understand why you wanted that move banned. I don't understand how you could possibly think someone could get more injured from that than a pile driver. I thought one of the most offensive things ever was when that move got edited out on the NXT DVD when you won the title.
Yeah.
What the curb stomp? got
Yeah.
edited out on the thing, really? I didn't even know that. I didn't even.
You got to watch
It's so strange. I got to go back and watch it. That's so
Now
odd.
we're stablemates. You guys got to come by my place sometime and just chill.
Agreed. We'll come back, dude, anytime.
Weed is allowed.
I don't even. We are allowed. Yes, we are.
I'm sorry, we can't talk about that?
No, we can talk about anything you want.
I meant to say we, but I guess weed is too.
We are allowed.
I won't do anything, but as long as you keep it on the download.
Now that's something that we like to keep for like like your our degenerate friends. We're more like French wine and we like to pop the cork, pour a glass or two, get wild with it.
I can see that Dick Lane's starting to get wild with it now.
Breaking out some wine? I could really use some French wine right about now, Dick.
Yeah, pour that French
Ladies and
wine.
gentlemen, that's what I like to call the Chad laugh right there.
This reminds me of the bull in the Family Guy episode. Hey, back on the. You know what I do back on the ranch? I'm a breeding bull, and I'm like, bull, where's your penis?
What? I gotta watch more Family Guy apparently because I have no idea what you're talking about.
I could. Here, I'm going to pass the mic to Dick while I pull up the video.
Oh,
So,
yeah, sure, go for it.
Dick, feel free to plug in all the shows, including our upcoming event at NCW next week, and where to get tickets, and where to watch an upcoming episodes.
Yeah, all of those things he just quickly said.
I don't know when the shows are, Steve. I mean, what the hell?
Next Saturday night
Next Saturday in Dedham, Mass.
Massachusetts, it's the Fallout.
Fallout, NCW Fallout.
Rich Bass is going to be in charge.
Rich Bass is booking the card. So,
I'm talking to Rich Bass literally right now via text message.
so if you're a heel, it's gonna be great. For
yeah,
you.
but if you're a babyface, you are screwed.
So we're screwed, Steve. That's what it means.
Way to go, guys.
But also, yeah, I mean, this whole tag team thing with Steve.
Oh, hold on. We got a little...
What's that? You gonna find out. Huh? Where you going, fatty? We gonna have a party.
We're watching Peter Griffin get raped by a bull.
Where's the bull's penis?
Oh, so they didn't actually say, where's the bull's penis? That was just all you saying that, Steve? That's you watching the cartoon going, where's that bull dick?
All right, I can understand not having the bull dick, but where's the bull's balls? You know, because if you look at any bull statue, there's always them giant balls hanging out. You know the bull statues?
Listen, man, I'm taking this conversation back to wrestling.
Yes,
I
I'm
don't
sorry,
know
but
where the hell you guys went
I
with
don't
it.
know. I don't know.
I stopped paying attention for 2 goddamn minutes, and we're talking about bull balls. I don't know what's going on. All right.
Where's this shit?
So Beyond, you're back at Beyond. You've done... Drew convinced you that you could work that style.
Yes, and this is during the time when we had the points going about, which I guess
Which was a terrible idea.
well, it worked at the time when it was just for us and not
Right,
the
but,
fans.
But once they started opening shows to fans and all that.
We kept it going for a while, but eventually, when Americana began, that's when I think it officially or unofficially went out the window. I believe the night that,
As a worker, you mean, like as a wrestler?
as a wrestler, like from a work standpoint, when it went out, not on the pizza, guys.
Not
You're
on the pizza, guys.
Guys, there's still pizza there.
Don't worry, he's moving it in a second.
Okay, but as I was saying, now you got me lost. The last time we even acknowledged points in Ring and Beyond, was during the event where Drew Gulak, who was the point leader at the time, teamed up with Roderick Strong, and Roderick's only appearance for us at Beyond against.
Yeah.
Oh, not Roderick. I'm sorry. He teamed up with Biff Busick to
Biff, okay.
face Roderick Strong and Eddie Edwards, the Dojo Bros.
This Biff Busick guy, I heard that he's now got a really funny name in NXT.
Oni Lorcan.
Oni Lorcan.
In NXT. Please follow him, guys. This guy is going to be a tremendous star in the world of wrestling. And by the way, a shout out to Eddie Edwards as well, because his match with Biff Busick, that entire series is one of the best things I think I've ever seen in wrestling.
Eddie Edwards is one of those cats that's been wrestling forever. Like, I remember seeing Eddie Edwards wrestling when I was a kid.
Isn't that him
on
on TV
shows.
right now?
It is him right there right now.
Good timing.
It keeps happening. I think the Xbox One is listening to what we're talking about. It's some government conspiracy Illuminati stuff going on.
And I'm a PS4 guy, so go. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you don't even know what's going on. The Illuminati has control of Microsoft. PS4, I think you're all right.
Well, let's thank Xavier, Mr. Fantastic,
Yeah.
Iron Man,
All that good
Black Bolt, Doctor Strange, and other guy.
And other guy.
Uh,
Now,
the Illuminati.
I know that comic. That's the Illuminati. They shot the Hulk into space.
Yeah, there's another one. I'm trying to remember who the 6th member was. Oh, yeah, Neymar.
see, folks, this is going to be a podcast that's got some real weird
Gunk.
rants going from one spot to another because we're all kind of like comic geeks and wrestling geeks and movie geeks
And autistic.
and autistic. Apparently, I didn't say.
And by the way, anyone who comments on this, please don't drop the R word, because spread the word and the word. Because someone dropping the R word on me would be like me dropping the N word on someone of African American descent.
It's autistic, not rawtistic.
That
That's
R
not
word.
the R word that he's talking
And
about.
I'm not
dude.
going
No.
to say it.
No, we're not gonna go on that kick there. But I totally understand what you're saying.
You got to give yourself props here.
And after when we go off the air, I'll play the video for you so you know what. Spread the word and the word is.
You are living proof to any autistic person that they can still live their dream and become a pro wrestler if that's what they want to do.
That's probably,
Living proof, Steve.
That's probably one of the proudest messages I'm going to have, regardless of what when I finally call it a day in this business and leave my boots in the ring or my shell because I'll need my shoes to walk out with.
And
Sit down, Mack. You got.
I googled your name on YouTube, and all I had to write was Steve the Turtle, and your stuff came out. Came right up. I have to write the whole goddamn Monster Max show to pop up my stuff. Like, what the hell? I'm jealous.
Well, one thing I'm very proud of is at least I branched my name out where I'm connected to so many promotions. Like,
Right.
I mean, one time when I got so depressed that I was ready to quit, Hero and JT were the ones who pointed me out that just how well known I am. I mean, people in Arizona know who I am, and I don't
Right.
even met them guys.
Right.
And there's people I have probably 20 plus people that work now in the WWE that
That have met you or know you
or met you or heard of me. I mean,
Own your shirt is in their gear bag right now.
the fact that Samoa Joe, even though he didn't tag me, posted my Rhode Island State version of my logo shirt.
Yeah.
It's just a huge deal. I wish he did because it's true. If you have one of those, you've been through the trenches.
I've seen that shirt.
It's like
I've seen that photo.
It's a stamp of approval saying that you made it on the independence. In a
Yeah.
way. Hence why Gabe probably put out
was like, yo, man,
it was like becoming their version of tap out. He was like, no, we're
y'all
not.
cats need to quit wearing that turtle T-shirt.
And I have nothing against Gabe. I think he's a tremendous booker, even though we rarely talk when I see him at Evolve. I might go Sunday. Which, by the way, Dick Lane, are you booked Sunday?
No.
Please come. I'm inviting you to come with me to Evolve to come see Hero and.
Evolve, huh?
It's in New York. I'm driving. Don't cost you a thing. I'll pay for your ticket if I have to. It's Hero and Drew Galloway versus Cody Rhodes, and in his final match for Evolve, Johnny Gargano.
All right, I'll let you know.
If I put on a headband and call myself Dick,
You
can
guys can
I
do.
go with No, I'm just...
No, I'm serious. I'd rather have a car people come with me. I want to see that match.
And, so,
Hero invited me. I got to check with him see if it's okay with bringing people, but I would love for him to meet Dick. At least because he's the second in command of the Turtles in time besides our manager wrestler Delilah. Hayden.
Pantyhose Princess.
A.k.a. the Alley Cat. We got to get that name out there. Cause
The Alley Cat, I like it. Now, Steve, you've wrestled in shows with nobody there. You've wrestled for shows for Ring of Honor. You've been a part of Ring of Honor, wrestled for shows for Shikara. You've been a part of Beyond, which is becoming one of the most popular wrestling promotions.
I wrestled in Florida this year, which actually happened at the last minute. I was for I Believe in Wrestling.
Okay.
I want to give them a shout out because they didn't have to put me on that card. And I'm so grateful I met the person that runs it. And I apologize to you because I can't remember your name. And that's so embarrassing. And I understand if you can, let that go. But I only see you when I'm down in Florida. So please forgive me and please remind me who you are when you listen to this. I do want to get Sarah, some Santana Jarrett, though, is like co-commander there. So. And they have so many guest trainers. My friend Sammy Callahan sometimes guest hosts.
Goes down there,
yep. So please, everyone, if you're in Florida, check out the I Believe in Wrestling Training School. It's in Orlando. It's right near the NXT school. It's a great place if you're trying to start but you can't get in the performance center yet. Go down there, give it a try. It's a great way to get the wheels going.
5% of our downloads come from Florida. So you 5% of listeners, check it out.
I Believe in Wrestling. You can find them on Facebook, Twitter, on YouTube, but definitely also check out Sarah Garrett. And I can't remember who I wrestled. Santana Garrett. This is why I'm so glad you're here, Dick. And I'm apologize, Miss Garrett, for getting your name wrong. You dress up like a Ninja Turtle, and if it were up to me, you'd be our next female member of the Turtles in time. You know, you can't replace Princess Pantyhose because she was the first lady of us.
I see. So, my question to you is, who is your Master Splinter? Would you say that was your father?
Absolutely. And outside of wrestling, my dad. Inside wrestling, Bob Evans without question. Because Bob Evans is the reason there is a Steely's Roll Weiner. For wrestling-wise. As a human being, definitely my dad. My stepmom definitely helped out as well. I also got to give credit to my sister, Kathy. She always stood up for me. I'll always remember her for the fact that when I was being bullied as a little kid, without me knowing, she literally walked me to school. I went to my classroom, and apparently she confronted the bully, and I never had any problems since.
That's good. So you would say that your stepmom is like your April O'Neil?
or whoever Master Splinter's wife is, because April O'Neil, every turtle wants to hook up with April. And don't get me started on the porn parody of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We're not going to talk about any turtle penises.
That's a thing?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
We'll have to watch it after the podcast.
Yes, we will.
No, we'll watch the highlights on YouTube. I don't get the-
YouTube? What?
Please, I'm
No.
not. When this ends, I don't have to go anywhere, do I? I mean,
No, you can. We can watch that. Whose is your shredder in the wrestling business? Arch enemy?
oddly enough, this is going to shock everyone, but I would have to say JT Dunn.
JT Dunn.
Because he was probably one of my best friends, but he's definitely my greatest rival in wrestling. Because I had probably wrestled him more times than I wrestled anyone else.
It's been JT?
I think I had my best feud with him outside of Dick. And I would love to wrestle him again. It's been a few years since we've wrestled each other, but I've had more good chemistry with JT than anyone. I think he was always grateful that I got to wrestle him. I will never take any success away from him. I will never claim any of the success.
Right.
Because if I opened any screen for him, he's the one who kicked the door in.
He for sure did.
He earned...
He elbowed that door open.
He absolutely. JT,
Spun
you
first,
earned...
big elbow, doors right
you
open.
You earned every single bit of your success. I don't think I had anything to do with it because you put the work in. I hope I'm saying this right because you live with me, so clearly.
I didn't know.
And if I was gay, you'd be my husband.
It's a very strange situation when the turtles sleep like 25 feet from Shredder in like a different bedroom.
Yeah, but
that makes the lair a little strange. Who's your Yosaki Yojimbo, your ninja rabbit of your life?
What's that?
Just a ninja rabbit. Like my Yosaki Yojimbo is probably Trevor.
If there can be two, I would have to say Chris Hero and Dick Lane.
Solid answers. I like them.
So do you
Now,
know that?
here's the
You hear that, Dick?
question.
You're tied with Chris Hero now for me because I think you're both Osaki O'Hare.
This is something I wanted to know for a long time. Ultimate question.
We're not done yet. I got a lot to talk about.
Of course, I'm not ending in it. It's on your time, Turtle.
We got 3 hours in. I don't know how much more we got. I was saying we're getting close to that 3 hour mark.
We can beat buddies at least, right? By a few minutes.
We can definitely beat buddies.
But who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
I would have to say Leonardo because he
Leonardo,
wears
I was
blue,
expecting
he carries the swords,
Michelangelo.
and despite the fact that it was always a burden to him, he takes responsibility. He's like the leader.
Leonardo leads. Donatello does machines.
Yes, I mean for the people that are a fan of doujins, not the sex stuff, even though I do like that, but I meant like the fan made comics of their own opinion.
Yeah.
There's one online about the turtles when they become a little bit older and they're adults called Mutant Ninja Turtles. I can't pronounce the name, but it's this guy that created this episode or this comic about this curse being placed on the turtles.
Yeah.
They're forced to kill Master Splinter, and they all split up. And it's very dark, and it's like
That sounds dark and kind of upsetting.
It would basically be like if the Ninja Turtles were written under Vertigo.
Okay, I understand.
Did Donatello really die? What was up with that? You know anything about that?
Oh,
That's the
from the
inside.
comic book recently.
Yeah.
No, his mind got placed inside that metal turtle.
Okay, that makes sense. I feel like that metal turtle was a thing that they did back in the day too.
It wasn't just something they made up for the comic. That was actually a legitimate thing that was created for the show.
I was gonna say, I feel like I had a little robot turtle from back in the day, like action figure. But so Steve,
Are you gonna ask me greatest matches?
yeah, I was gonna say what were maybe not your greatest matches because we all know that sometimes the matches that you go out there and you do the most shit in aren't your favorites. It's those things that you have the special something that feels the feels. What are your favorite matches that you've had?
Definitely my debut, my time in the match with the Hound Dog in APW because it's my first DVD match, so I always consider that my official debut.
Like yeah,
because it was on like Ring of Honor quality because of the cameras they used.
like shot and high quality.
My time,
edited.
all of my times in Jakar, for good or worse. Definitely the time with Dragon. If he wasn't beheaded, by the way, and I could ever,
Dragon.
if I could have bought the contract rights from Jakara for Dragon, if he wasn't beheaded by Oleg, who I have no heat with because he was a usurper.
Yeah.
He would have been an honorary. He definitely would have been a member of the Turtles in Time. Dick would have loved to team up with a Dragon. Imagine
I don't know anybody that wouldn't.
I mean, imagine what a super villain and a hero
And a
dragon.
goddamn dragon could accomplish.
Yes, we would be the Legion of Green Lane.
Steve, you know dragons?
Well, unfortunately, the one I do know is deceased. Well, one is in the WWE, but he's retired.
What about Super Dragon? You know Super Dragon, Steve?
Actually, I don't, but I want to go to PWG one day and meet him, just because I want to see him come out to Earth People, because I always imagine him doing the old Hercules Hernandez stomp to the Earth People song during that opening note. No, where
Talking about Cool Keith?
Yeah.
How do you even know who Cool Keith is?
I don't. I just was agreeing with him.
Oh, all right. It makes sense to me that you know who Cool Keith is. But for him, that's so strange. Like, I didn't expect you to know, like, an underground, back in the day, hip-hop, hardcore
I just know
guy.
that was the song that, I would know it's the name of the song that Super Dragon was most known for coming out to.
Awesome. Yeah.
Earth People.
Earth People.
I don't know what it has to do with a Super Dragon, but it just was what he came out with.
It makes sense. So, Shikara matches, what else? Anything?
Oh, absolutely. I like to say every match I have with JT, especially the one the 6th-year anniversary, because one person I do miss in this business, and so far the only person wrestling-wise I had to deal with passing was Larry Sweeney.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into detail of how he passed. Everyone knows that. I don't have an issue with how he passed. I wish he did.
Everybody's got their problems. Everybody has their demons, man, and sometimes they get the best of us.
I should know better than anyone. I have my own demons.
Right.
Not the kind of violating, but
Substances. But
I felt terrible because I was the one who convinced Larry to dye his hair back blonde for his Chicago return, because that's what people most recognize him by.
how he was blonde all the time.
Yeah, I mean, like the fact I talked to him months before, I wish I reached out more, just even though I didn't know anything was wrong, but I could tell because there just something was up with his appearance the last time I saw him, and just he looked pudgier, and I had nothing wrong with that, but just I could, looking back now, I could just tell something was up, and I felt so bad that. And I talked to Hero about this.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I pissed Kingston off that time, because Kingston, I shouldn't say that, but no. Let's just say I unintentionally said something because I didn't to Eddie that I didn't mean to, for something that could have happened had Larry was still with us. And
Gotcha.
It's like one of those things. Like, let's just say I said like next time, and it's like, oh God. Eddie, I'm so sorry about that, because I know how much Larry meant to you, or at least I could understand how much he meant to you, as he meant to the whole locker room. I'll never forget Quackabook's. One thing that always happens is like Quack likes to rile us up.
Right, like a
one of my favorite things about
like a team meeting.
I always enjoy Quackenbush's team meetings, which are closed to the public, by the way, so fans don't come in, and I'm not going to discuss what goes on to them.
Right,
but that King of Trios weekend, which is one of my favorite events of the year, I felt so devastated I couldn't go this year. But then again, with everything happening in my family, who could blame me?
Yeah, of course.
But basically, nothing will ever probably top 11, although last year's probably got close. The 5th annual one, the last one, the ECW Arena, the one that we were basically dedicated on Transformers.
Yeah.
It happened days after Larry Sweeney passed away. Dick, you're being offered a candy.
Said candy.
As I was saying, Quack was just devastated. And then the next day, to be able to get through that, one of the best, it was one of the best weekends we ever had. The fact that we got the 1-2-3 Kid, or X-Pac to revert to the 1-2-3 Kid for one weekend, and just like his match alone with El Generico is going to be the stuff of Linders on the independent scene.
That match is awesome.
And the fact that the Trios finale was able to top that.
Right.
I mean, I was there when X-Pac or Sean Waltman wrote that thank you note to Quack. I can't remember if I'm the one who gave him the pen or not, but I remember seeing him write it down and making sure that Quack found it. It's just like,
did X-Pac shave his beard for the full transformation?
He did shave his beard, but he didn't get rid of the mullet or something. He did.
Oh, you can't expect a guy to get a mullet to do this one-time deal. The shaving the beard was enough, though. I was surprised by that.
He looked like the 1-2-3. I felt
that's awesome.
I felt there was nothing. It was no, even though he did tease the Bronco Buster, there was no X-Pac. It was definitely the 1-2-3 Kid.
Right.
And I will always be grateful for that weekend. But as I was saying, it happened days after Larry passed, and he passed on a Monday. 12 days later was my 6th-year anniversary match with where I got to challenge for the WCW Commonwealth Championship. And I only went to, and I know you guys have a history with WCW.
Right.
For what
Which
it was.
is something we didn't really get to mention much. WCW closed its doors. Wellington City Wrestling closed its doors down this past week.
They did.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
I guess there was issues with the building, rent hikes and storage, and new people bought the building a couple years ago, and it hasn't exactly been easy sailing over there since that happened. And I guess after all these years, Whaling City Wrestling closes its doors. And before it was WCW, it was Alliance Championship Wrestling, which is where you're wearing an Alliance Championship Wrestling shirt right now, Mac, which is where we started, like, when I was, like, 15 years old and stuff like that.
Well, for you guys, I'm sorry to hear that, but I went there originally because JT went there, and at the time, I remember wrestling JT for the first time in RWA. That was the best match, but I found I got to do it again with him. Believe it or not, JT was the sole reason I went to to WCW, and it was the best series of matches I ever had. We told a great story, and I was his first knockout, as you mentioned.
Yes.
Or not the elbow one. I could have sworn it was an elbow, but I was the first knockout, and he eventually went to elbow.
Well, yeah, his first elbow knockout was Joey Bleeks.
But I was the one who got him started on the knockout.
Right, doing the knockout thing, yeah. Yeah, he did the Shining Wizard for a while, I think.
And we had the worst referee ever. We had a female referee who was deer in the headlights. So.
Who was it? Do you remember her name?
I don't. I just remember that she was best remembered for saying, "You knocked him out." It's online, so you can check.
Yeah,
it
I gotta
out.
look it up. I think I know who the referee is,
But
but
I will say this: it was one of the probably for move wise, it was definitely the best move match I ever had in my career.
like actual, like you performing moves.
Yeah, and I dressed up like Larry Sweeney in a street fight with my turtle shirt, but I wore jean pants and I came out with the boa and glasses and everything. It was basically like a hybrid version of me tributing Larry Sweeney.
Yeah, yeah.
I even came out to like this hybrid music of my opening notes of my Go Ninja Rap song, and
Yep.
it turned into his song. You know, more, how do you like it?
Yeah.
And I miss him every day. I don't think I think about him every time, like especially around April, when every day, every year of the day of his passing, I wear his shirt that we put out to help donate money to like the cause that he passed by. So
Right.
I wish he was still here with us, because people only will probably remember him WWE-wise for his time as impersonating Nick Hogan. But in my opinion, if he had lived, he would have been probably one of the best, at least, talkers in the WWE period.
He was such a
He
solid
would have
promo,
been.
like-
He would have probably been what Corey Graves is now, or at the very least, he would have been a good mouthpiece for managers. I will always say this, Mike. There's this scene back in the Royal Rumble, like around the time. There's this backstage scene where Kofi was talking to Evan Bourne, Matt Sydal, who's another great person, about him being back in time for the Rumble. Mike Knox, who was trying to push as a monster at the time, attacked them, and then like whacked this like cane across Evan's leg to make him out longer.
Yeah.
I always thought, because Larry had a good history with Matt Sydal back in Ring of Honor, I think Mike Knox would have done much better if he had like a mouthpiece, and Larry would have been perfect, because it would have. I could just imagine
opposing,
like setting it up, like just setting up that whole thing, because it was an awkward pause during that whole thing.
Right.
And my first thought
like
was that
Sweeney
Larry
would've been
Sweeney would have been like
perfect.
the best like agent for Mike Knox. He was like, he would have been. He had such a tremendous voice. He was a good wrestler, but he was a tremendous talker.
Right.
And him not being here anymore, because so many people could have learned like the gift of promo from him. I know I did. Let me just finish this very quickly, Dick, and go right ahead. I miss him every day, and I love you, Larry, and he's one of the reasons I will always be loyal to Chikara, no matter what they do.
Yeah, his promos that he used to have with Chris Hero and Bobby Dempsey, when they would pick on Bobby Dempsey, those were hilarious. Those were my favorite promos. Of all
You're
time.
gonna love this one. I'm responsible for the prop set for the one they did in Boston, where Bobby had this bag of food, including a bag of Doritos that said Bobby's Doritos. Those are mine. And
Those
the
were
bag,
your Doritos, those
and
Steve's
the
Doritos.
and that was my bag, and I came up with the idea of him being in the ice bucket thing. And it's like,
Yeah.
that video wire is legendary. It's on YouTube somewhere, so I'm sure someone uploads all the video wires.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, go to 2006 and check out those videos. I mean, 2006 was a magical year for Ring of Honor. I think one of the best matches I ever seen was Claudio versus who's Cesaro in the WWE versus I'm so embarrassed. Morishima.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Claudio called that match because they did all of Morishima's moves, but they had you believing that he was going to pull it off. Even the whole, Morishima, who likes to sit with it, when he does, the bonsai. They found a whole, Claudio kept teasing him, getting him up for, his Ricola bomb, and they did a different way of him doing the sit with it.
Sitting down with it, yeah.
Yeah, as I like to call that move when he does, the tumbleweed sit bonsai, he sits with it.
Yeah.
Because that's what he does. He sits with it.
Yeah.
It wasn't meant as a sexual thing. He literally sits with it.
I don't think anybody thought that you meant it in a sexual way, Steve.
Well, people who know me in the wrestling business probably do.
Listen, we understand. Now, you were talking about this Shikara disappeared. The wrestling is things popped up for a while, and
I got one of my favorite moments of wrestling is I'll always be grateful for. Another reason my dad's a miracle is that he was responsible for having a Wrestling Is show come on my birthday.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be Jakara, but it was impossible. And unfortunately, he told me the day before that this was happening. Next day, he gets into a car accident, has 13 ribs broken, and is in a coma in Florida for about 3 months, so he's not there for my 30th birthday. He lived, but he wasn't there. And my brother and sister surprised me by showing up to the event, and I had to blow off NCW guys because I wasn't going to go
hang out with them when...
Yeah, well, also, I was going to meet up with someone. Someone apparently was going to arrange for me to meet up with a woman to be intimate with for free.
Well, that's a hell of a birthday present.
Yeah, but I felt so devastated because the people at Jakara are just such masterminds of behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
I really was believing that Dad was just going to walk in the door. This was like some elaborate way of like saying Dad, like just so happy for him being there. And when it came clearer that that wasn't the case, and he literally was in the hospital, it got to me. I mean, I wasn't ready to do anything that day. I tried. That birthday match with Cobalt was not one of my best matches.
Right. You just weren't in it emotionally.
I wasn't. Looking back on it now, I should have had that event canceled because I'm grateful that Quack came up here for the event, but it shouldn't have gone down.
Yeah.
That I do regret. That's probably one of the few regrets I have in the business.
Now, you were talking about the Shikara comeback.
Yes.
And about how you were excited, or what's the deal? What's going on with that? Because I haven't heard too much about the...
I want to come back to Jakara. I'm grateful. The fact that I was able to come back and be in the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Although, at least I was in there longer than I was during the Countdown Showdown. Like everyone, we all thought that Gene Snitsky being an intro was a rib until he came right out after me.
Right.
And so, unfortunately, I was on a hot roll, and then I had the unfortunate luck of the draw.
Gene Snitsky just out there putting it down.
Yeah. It was his fault. That was the only... I mean, no reason I'm lucky number 4. I was the 4th guy eliminated from the whole thing out of 33.
4 seems to be a pretty reoccurring number for you,
Well,
Steve.
4 siblings, 4 seasons. I could come up with so many ways, but I'm not going to bore you.
Right,
Let's just say that the number 4 is...
4 Ninja Turtles.
4 Ninja Turtles, 4 Ghostbusters.
4 of us in this room right now.
4 of us in this room, 4 horsemen. 4
The Horsemen.
4 henchmen for anyone of a USWF fan.
Now we're just naming things that are coming 4.
But those were true. But the point is, 4 has always been a significant number for me for some reason.
Now, what?
Oh yeah, my nephew was born on the 4th.
Yes, on the 4th. Another.
And also the Tokyo Dome show happens on January 4th, the same day my eldest nephew was born.
See, all random things that the number 4. It's like have you ever seen, what is it, the number 27, 37,
I have not seen that movie.
25, 23? The Jim Carrey movie where he's not funny. Anybody know the name of it? The number
It was still a
Liar,
good
liar.
movie,
I
No, liar.
see what you did there.
I had to
The
throw that.
Mask. No, my bad. 27 is the highest number. But
You know that since Triple H won it at 30 this year, and by the way, you want to know about how I would book the Royal Rumble this year?
yeah, I would. Sure.
If Bayley didn't debut this year at the night after SummerSlam, here's what I would have done. Found some way to keep her off television until January.
Yeah.
Have her be this year's NXT entrant in the Rumble.
Into the Rumble.
Have her come out 27.
Yeah.
Final 4, her and the Shield. Keep Seth Rollins heel. Have him double eliminate Ambrose and Reigns. He thinks he's won. Oh, here comes Bayley a la Santino Marella. But she wins it by Bayley debelling Seth Rollins over the top rope. She becomes the first woman to win the Royal Rumble.
So you would have went with Bayley for the Rumble winner.
Yeah, but wait, I know where you're... And she would go for the women's belt in the main event of WrestleMania. It would have been a 4-way somehow with all 4 of the 4 horsewomen in a 4-way 60-minute Iron Man match with a women's title. She takes it. All of the same way she won her match with Sasha Banks at NXT. Same ending with 4 women. And that's how a women's match, main events WrestleMania.
Hold on. Dick's got a question for you. I got a couple, too.
Steve, I know that you've been doing some commentary work for different companies, and you've been talking about retiring a lot. And do you think
No, I have no intention of retiring anytime soon unless something happens to my body where I'm forced to retire.
is that something that you think you would ever continue doing, and maybe after wrestling?
Oh, absolutely. I can tell you right away that I would probably take a minute after I retire to just process that I'm no longer in the ring.
Right.
But after that, I would always be involved in the business in some format. I don't know if I would ever train anyone. I have thought about trying to do a seminar, but because of who I am, it would need to be with someone that could help translate just how I'm trying to say anything. Me and Bob, or me and
Bob would
JT,
be
or if
good.
JT was allowing me to take the reins for like one class at the chop shop.
Right, yeah.
And
But
just-
teaching not just the moves and stuff like that, but the
Psychology.
Right, psychology.
I would
behind the
love
stuff. Character
to
development.
have like 4 days at the chop shop where I'm teaching class.
Yeah.
I would love just to have a week with the turtle, and I'm begging if you're listening to this, JT, please, if there's any.
He lives with you. You can't just like yell it really loud from your room and
Well, JT is
Like,
his own.
he'll hear you?
He's his own businessman.
No, on the Mackcast.
say that again.
I figured he's his own man. I mean, like I don't want to. I know he understands the business more than I do, and he's actually been in it less than I have.
I'm not saying that he's not his own man or anything like that, but you don't have to ask him in the Mackcast. I'm just saying just bang on your wall a little bit. Hey, JT, let me run train at the chop shop this week.
It's going to be a hard sell, but
So, what were you talking about doing commentary?
I
and
would
stuff
continue commentary. I do have an option of being able to go to Maine for a great promotion, by the way, that's running on September 24th, Limitless Wrestling, Randy Culver Jr.'s promotion. It's in Oreo, Maine, or Orono, Maine. I apologize. It's on Facebook. Go to Facebook, Limitless Wrestling.
Arano, something like that. Yeah.
It's a far drive. That's one of the reasons I usually can't make it, because I originally went up to the show to help people get down for the Beyond show the next day, and I do think they have great promotion. It's a far drive.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
And when they
It's tough
finally
to
started
get out
running
there.
Portland, I'd be able to do it. But no, it's just like, and I have bad memories of Maine from visiting my sister at camp. So I'm sorry. It's just
Yeah, we've been up to Maine a few times, but it was a rough drive. So.
I understand, and the pay. It's a good pay. He pays well, so people outside, trust me, it's a place that you can learn. It draws a good crowd. He's got a great mind for this business, and he's a great roster, and he's also young. So trust me, he's going to make mistakes sometimes, but he's going to learn. But he so far has yet to make them. So I'm imploring anyone who hasn't bought a ticket yet, or at least checked it out, please visit facebook.com/Limitless Wrestling, and I hope I'm getting that right. It's a great show. The main event is round 2 between Ace Romero and AR Fox. At least that's what the top match is right now. But just look at the card. Chuck Taylor's going to be on the card. I think Dijak's on the card. I mean, check it out. It's worth it.
I think I got a Steve story that we missed upon when talking about you doing commentary. You said that there was an incident with you doing commentary for Beyond Wrestling.
I did a good job in the past because of how my mind works. Sometimes I'm on and sometimes I'm off. And I commentated this match with Eddie Edwards, but in a way, I did it with ring announcer guy from Ring of Honor. He's African American, great guy. I can't remember his name. He was the ring announcer for Pazuzu. Larry Legend.
Larry Legend, yeah.
And I did a good job. It's just apparently the backlash for how I commentated resonated with Drew, and he took me off commentary. And part of it is my fault, and I understand, because the audience wants a certain way of commentary. This is like my argument with Buddy, because he has a specific. This is why also Drew doesn't use me anymore as a wrestler, because the audience has a certain style that they want, and I'm not that style. I want one more match in Beyond. I will say that right now. Even if I'm squashed, I think people would come to see me wrestle in Beyond. That's not me going to business for myself. I think it's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
And I understand if it doesn't happen. I'm a happy timekeeper. I want to do more. I want to be on the show. I don't care if I
You want to
manage
be more
people.
involved.
I want to be more involved. But in the end of the day, it's up to the promoter to decide.
Speaking of Buddy Romano, you just beat his time, 3 hours and 12 minutes.
Oh my!
Yeah, that's where we're at.
Well,
So
I wasn't trying to beat
congratulations.
his time, but I'm glad to know that
Oh, yeah.
I hope
we're
I'm not
gonna
going
enjoy
too
it.
long. This was the minimum, at least I was trying to get to.
Yeah, the buddy length was the minimum.
I figured it was the longest one you did so far, so at least if you're going to buy a minute.
It might
I
be.
figured 4 is my lucky number. I figured 4 I would cut it off at, so at the very least you could always split it up into 2 parts.
No, it's all going to be one big part.
Oh, good.
One giant podcast. People just download it and then listen forever. I feel like we split it up. You lose downloads. It's just.
When are you guys
Not many
uploading
people.
this?
Tonight, probably.
Oh, good. I'll be sure as soon as I get home to add you guys to and announce you guys as members. Send me a group tag shot of you guys so I can add it to the Turtles in Time page, or you guys can add it right away. Oh yeah,
That selfie, dog.
It's gonna go up after we Training 1 has to do them 500 edits. Then I believe
I gotta clean it up a little bit. Throw our theme song in there.
So I guess since I figured I don't really have that much left to talk about, at least as far as I know, and I can always come back on again.
You can come down anytime, man. We can come if you want to do
I
an
can be a
episode
host with you
maybe
guys?
where we
I could join you guys as like a third host. So maybe.
what about we do like a pay-per-view thing where we sit, we watch the pay-per-view, do a little commentary, not over the not over the pay-per-view, but like review the matches and then cut it up and make like a best of kind of deal on there. Like
I would love that. If you guys want to come down to Backlash on Sunday for my house to bring the mics, I have a laptop. See, we can try to do it for that.
Yeah, Max work-related things with the
for
ladies.
the Clash of Champions. Don't forget, we got the Evolve, which I've sold here.
Yeah, maybe there's a Dick Lane. We're trying to get him to go to Evolve. But so what's
I guess this is where you guys be like all the questions of best of, what if, goals for the future. I guess.
we banged a lot of that out. We've been bouncing back and forth, but like.
Go ahead. I don't want to.
No, it's all good. Goals for the future. I know you've mentioned the Beyond stuff, and you want to go back to Beyond. You want to do some more stuff with Shakara.
The thing is, I don't know where I don't have time usually to train.
Right.
And I don't know where I would go. And I tried going to, and JT school is awesome, but I can't handle, especially at this point in my life. Right now my body is his kind of training. And I do support that kind of training. And I hope all of you support that kind of training. But at this stage in my life, I can't keep up.
I hear that.
And that's one of Drew's.
Steve, you can still go to the class and not do the intense cardio, maybe, and just do the wrestling.
Show up in your flip flops.
I didn't know I could do that.
You're Steve the Turtle.
Well, he's JT Dunn, and I love and respect JT Dunn too much. I could give that a try one time, and if he says get out, I'll get out.
So we didn't touch upon. I seen on the internet there was a puppet version of you.
A friend that was responsible for the Gringo puppet that you've seen in Jakara gave that to me. But I would like to make. I guess when we're about to close, I'd like to say one last thing.
No, yeah, absolutely. We're not wrapping it up specifically right this second.
Fill me in on the puppet.
That's
And-
basically it.
And what's his name? He has a name, right?
That someone just gave me a
I
puppet.
seen on the internet the other he was talking. He was chilling behind a couch.
Basically, when I used to wear the mask, I wouldn't change the voice at all. I just would say, I'm talking, and the puppet's talking, because I'm not a puppeteer. You know, I love puppets. One of my goals is that one day be in a segment with Cookie Monster and Elmon Grover. I want to be on like the therapist couch talking to Cookie Monster, or do a reenactment of Xavier Woods versus Kenny Omega stare down at a Japanese booth.
Yeah.
Steve,
Booty-O's versus Cookies.
did you see that the Young Bucks came out with Super Kicks?
I
It's
heard
like a T-shirt and a cereal.
What?
Hilarious.
Someone's got to send me that.
Yeah, I'll send you the link
Young
to
Bucks
it.
are another group of people I would love. If they weren't in the Bullet Club, they would definitely be invited into the.
Into the Turtles in Time.
Yeah, and that's one reason I'm having trouble. I would have trouble asking Hero and Dunn, who I really them, Drew Gulak, A.R. Fox, Sammy Callahan, and even Denver, Colorado. And if he was still active, Buddy Ramato are all people I would hand down personally invite into Turtles in Time, and even Drew Galloway if he wasn't involved in TNA, because I'm not sure that'd be a conflict of interest contract wise.
Yeah. You said that you hoped to be an inspiration to people that feel like they could. Hold on, he's showing them awesome picture, right?
Awesome
Super
picture.
Kicks, great. Dick Lane pulled up.
We'll
the
have to
Super
try.
Kicks.
We'll have to send both of those to the Wrestling with Regret. I'm sure you guys.
Well, Bodio's, you can get like a full box. These Super Kicks, it's like the little the size, the size you get like in breakfast at school.
Yes, I
You know
hope
what I
I'm
mean? Like
not
the
being
little
too
box
nudity for you guys.
No. You said you hope to be an inspiration to people. What do you? What are the last messages you want to send out on this podcast to people like breaking into the wrestling business, or people that have autism and are hoping to reach things that they're told that they won't be able to?
To every person who is yet to step inside a wrestling ring, to every person who has, to anyone who thinks you have been born different, if you can't think like what you consider a normal person, if you don't act what people consider like a normal person, if you don't look like what people consider as a normal person, regardless if you're black, white, red, brown, or even green, if you have only one arm, if you have only one foot, if you can't see, if you can't hear, if you can't think, if you can't speak correctly, if you have spots on your face, if you have stripes on your back, if you're painted yellow somehow and it's permanent, if you have 2 heads, if you have 3 legs, regardless
I got
of
3
what
legs.
disadvantage you have that you think would keep you away from professional wrestling, to shell with that. Regardless of what you think, if you put the work in, as I have, you can accomplish anything. Could I have gone farther? Could I still go farther? Absolutely. But for what I have done now, for the people I am connected with, people I can call friends, acquaintances, and to people who even reached out to me after my dad died, especially you, Rocco Abruzzi. At a point in time, you were probably the only person I had heat with just because of stuff in the past, but you reached out to me. I believed every word you said, and I still do, and I'm so grateful you did that, because as far as I'm concerned, everything we've ever had problems with is water under the bridge. You're always welcome in my home. But to anyone in this, just find the right person that you feel will treat you with respect. Don't anyone take advantage of you. Don't do anything you don't feel comfortable with. But if you put your heart and soul and mind into this, and you give 100% and beyond, the world is a turtle soup.
It's beautiful, Steve. It really was, man. Thank you for coming down. Really appreciate it, man. We're definitely going to do a part 2.
Thank you guys very much. And I want to thank my tag partner, Dick Lane, for showing
Dick
up.
Lane, thank you for coming out, buddy.
It was a pleasure. Hey, I gotta say, the first time I came on here, I wrestled like 1 match, and you guys had me on the podcast. So you guys have to have me back for real at some point, because now
You've had more than
blossomed-
1 match.
I've blossomed into a.
Was that a really short podcast that we did with you?
Yeah,
We talked about like comics and stuff. We didn't even talk about like wrestling.
I couldn't.
Yeah, we can get everybody on the shirt. I don't know how
but
well
they don't-
Curry
they don't
Boy's
like
gonna
to
do.
redos though. They don't like the read. They don't like to have repeat guests.
Nah, T Phoenix has been on here like 3 times.
All right.
We got to get the hit squad on here. We got to get David Starr on here.
Just a ton of people.
We got to get Smiley on here.
You got to get me on your Turtles in Time T-shirt.
We're going to get a new T-shirt made.
No, it's so
I'll be
funny.
sure to get you like the Universal one that's coming out.
Yeah, but yeah, Dick Lane, you had like 1 match, and we had you on the podcast, and people are just pissed at us because they like they want to do the podcast, and they get mad about it, and like we're like, oh no, we like Dick Lane, let's have him on. Like,
You're like, this guy has a superhero gimmick.
sold.
Let's get him on that podcast.
But seriously,
The Dr. Artemis Cobblepot, but in the good words.
yeah,
So,
but seriously, this has definitely been a year worth in the waiting. Monster Mack Training 1, thank you guys so much, and welcome to the Turtles in Time. And I'm so grateful that we're now aligned with each other, and I look forward to helping you guys blossom out and to or get your name out there. Hopefully you guys can branch out. That's what I'm hoping that this will at least do in some way, shape, or form. If anyone can at least wrestle in one new place that they haven't wrestled before and get there more often, then this is going to be a good idea that succeeds.
Well, I really appreciate that, Steve, because, you always seemed like a nice guy when I first met you, but I have to admit, I was a little jealous because your merchandise was wicked cool.
You're jealous? Someone was jealous of me?
I always wanted to be that shredder. I always remember making a joke saying, like, I want to feud with that guy.
I just want to
I
see
want to
it.
wear a shredder mask. And
I
train in
kept the
morning.
green
You
suit.
got the spikes on your mask already. Yeah, I'll be a foot soldier.
I
All the
kept-
trainees will be foot soldiers.
I kept the green mask just so, and the green suit, so if Kevin Nash ever busts out Super Shredder one day, we can actually do Turtle versus Shredder.
All right, Steve, we're gonna have to do something like that on the Monster Mac show. We're making that happen. You're gonna fight Monster Mac as the Turtle and Shredder. I'm in.
You got to have that Carl Winslow voice, though.
Yeah, we'll dub some Carl Winslow in there.
Can we get the version that was also on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air doing Shredder?
Absolutely, yes. I see that.
Oh, yeah, that's who it was. I'm sorry.
Can we also do a podcast where we all just like commentate on Turtle episodes and Turtles Forever?
Yes, we can totally do that. I'm totally down. Those would be shorter than this, obviously.
Clearly,
Like
but that
half-hour
way we can
episode,
get
but-
more podcasts out quicker to get to
Right,
50.
bang them quicker. Steve's in. He wants to be a part of this all the time. I'm sold, dude. It's awesome.
Thank
Steve, thank you. Like I said, thank you for coming out, Dick. A pleasure as always. Thanks for not punching me in the face. I'm glad Tom's not in cell phone remote range to make you try to like stab me and stuff.
Thank you, guys. I'll let Dick say something, and I'll close this out with my famous catchphrase.
Yeah, I'll be at RICW tomorrow at 6. I'll be at WAW tomorrow night in Newton. And then next week, we got RWA.
We got all that shit. We got House of Bricks tomorrow night.
They got House
Yeah,
of Bricks
show
tomorrow
up to
night.
there instead.
NCW next Saturday in Dedham.
Friday.
NCW next Saturday in Dedham. It's a very Saturday show. And then, of course, October 2nd, Beyond Minus Touch in Somerville, Connecticut, Massachusetts. And peoples, thank you so much for following me. And welcome to Turtles in Time. It's time to sell up.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to the Mackcast.